Yeah. The people that's here right now, I just want y'all to know, stay tuned. We begin at 7 o'clock sharp. I'm just Yeah. The people that's here right now, I just want y'all to know, stay tuned. We begin at 7 o'clock sharp. I'm just opening up the panel, letting the people come in, get your seats. Go do what y'all gotta do. Get your you know, what you do when you watch a movie or something. Go sit down, get your notepad, get your iPad, make sure you jot this down. You can also go look it up and see if these brothers are correct in their sources. You know, over here, we coined the phrase source up or shut up. That's what we do. That's what we do over here. Source up or shut up. And so I got two heavy hitters here tonight. This is going to be great. Just give us a little minute, y'all. We letting the people get in the building.
How are the rounds set up again? Are we doing an opening, then 15?
Soon as we open up, I'm gonna let you know. Soon as we get this thing started, so everybody in the audience can know. All right, family, on the countdown, we got 7 more minutes. I'm just giving the family some time to get up in the building. Y'all know how this thing works. YouTube take their time and letting the notifications out. And so that's why we said I'm going to go live right now and get the people ready. Get them time to go up in the building. While y'all there waiting, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all should already be sharing the video. Sharing the video. You should already be liking the video, family. This is going to be a very good, interesting joint here. I'm waiting to see what we got new coming from this. I got to see this. Sit back and relax, family. I'm going to just keep coming in, letting y'all know the new people that's coming in. We're going to get started exactly 7 o'clock on the dot. I am just opening it up early. I'm going to start opening it up early like this. Let y'all get time to find your seats in the audience. Come on in. You know, you done paid your ticket. You got your ticket. Find your seat. Get a nice, comfortable seat. And do y'all thing. And while I'm waiting, let me give a nice little roll call shout out. I see I got my man Black Lion Supreme in the building. Shout out to Black Lion Supreme. Latoya, my girl is always here. My man, Armin Rob McCarthy. Shout out to Armin Rob McCarthy. All right, we got to get Armin Rob McCarthy a debate, a Christian versus Christian type of debate. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome. All right, I got my sister in the building, Daughters of the Sea. Daughters of the Sea is here. Who else? Where else? My sister, Daughters of the Sea is in the building. Oh, Stirwell. How can I go past my man Stirwell? Stirwell is also in the building. Shout out to Stirwell. We got 4 more minutes to go time, y'all. So just be patient. These brothers right now are still putting together their stuff too. I could tell. I see Inky is in the laboratory putting together some more finishing touches.
No. I'm just texting people the link. I'm just sending people the link.
Oh, okay.
No, look. I can't put together no more finishing touches because my debate is already on Amazon. So I already released the book for this debate.
Okay.
You the source?
I'm the source, man.
I got you.
Who else? Let me see who else in the building. Who else? Any of my people in the building. Now, remember, when I put up the post and ask y'all, who do you think is winning? Remember, I am nobody friend up here. And the same should be for all my moderators, all the people that's in here. I am strictly here for the information. If you're wrong, I'm going to let you know you're wrong. So
I got a question for you.
Yes, what's the question, brother?
When are you going to put up that poll to see who they, like to get the vote of who they think is winning?
When the first round is over, I'm going to put it up and say, like, who do y'all think is winning so far? So that'll go up. And as y'all see on the screen, there will be no profanity. So we're going to get through that. Let me go ahead and start giving y'all the rules right now as we lay this down. Okay, so number 1, there's going to be a 2-minute opening. Y'all know what the opening is about. You're going to talk about what are you here to prove tonight in your opening. All right, that's what the opening is going to be about. You're going to prove what you're here for. The first round, 15 minutes, both sides. Second round, 10 minutes apiece. Third round, 10 minutes apiece. Right after those rounds, there will be a 5-minute rebuttal. So y'all could be writing down what y'all want to rebut as y'all hearing the person speak. So when it's time to rebuttal, you know what you're going to address or attack. You only got 5 minutes for that. Right after that, we got the Q&A where you and Inky be able to ask each other.
You said 5-minute rebuttals?
Yeah. No. You got a 5-minute rebuttal after the rounds.
5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was going to be 3 minutes. That's cool. 5 is good.
No, you got, man, y'all just did a whole 3 rounds. So you're going to have to get like 5-minute rebuttal.
After each round, right?
Come in. This is a debate, brother. You can't come in.
After each round, it's going to be a 5-minute rebuttal?
No, I was just going to say after the round. After all 3 rounds, 5-minute rebuttal, all of that. Now, do y'all want, Lord Abba, would you like to rebut after every round?
Yeah.
I mean, we can. It don't matter to me.
Okay.
This is going to be a first round knockout. So it don't matter to me.
1 more minute for starting time. So, yes, there's going to be a 2-minute.
No, 3 minutes, Si. Come on.
Right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes after every round. Let me put that in there right now. 3-minute rebuttal after every round. Let me see. Did y'all hear that? When you hear that, that means your time is up. Stop talking, unshare your screen. All right. And after that, y'all gonna have a Q&A. You're gonna be questioning each other. 3 questions apiece. When that is over, we can open up. Would y'all like to take questions from the crowd or just have a closeout?
Either one. I think that questions from the crowd would be good.
You see what Lord Abba want as well.
You know I love questions.
Okay, so we will have questions from the audience, and then we will have the closeout. So are there any questions, brothers?
15, 10, 10. We get 3 minutes after each round to rebuttal, and then we got the questions. And then we ask each other 3 questions at the end, right?
Right. I got you. I'm gonna let y'all know. There's absolutely no profanity. There's absolutely no ad hominems, no cursing, no banging on each other. The people are here for the information. Are we ready?
Yeah.
When 2 cultures collide, which one will stand to liberate the Black community? First of all, I need to acknowledge why this debate is necessary.
Black News 102. Whose words will survive when we purge the lies that curse the divine, cast the pearls to swine, reverse the design, even merge divide. Side netted TV when 2 worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who verbs will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys, no herbs left alive in in its earthly skies. Side at a TV when two worlds collide. Clash of the Titans, facts will enlighten. Some spitting mad, but they ain't half as exciting. This platform we battle for the souls of man. Those kidnapped and trapped upon stolen land. Doesn't matter where you at on this earth. Africa's the true origin of your birth. Teaching you true health and wealth, knowledge of self-worth instead of killing your health, going to jail over turf. We all truth seekers asking questions. Should we seek them in the shrine lodge or the lessons? Is the answer ancestral science or religion? Is it freedom or Willie Lynch a little different? Is it Indian, Aboriginal, indigenous people? Should we worship money? Is it still a root of all evil? We all born with mental shackles if we black, and the only thing that's gonna free us is the actual facts. Whose words will survive when we purge the lies that curse the divine? Cast the pearls to swine, reverse the design, even merge divide. Side at a TV when two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who verbs will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in its earthly skies. Side at a TV when two worlds collide. Is it the gods and earths or the Moors? Should we master UCC in commercial law? Is it being Muslim, Christians, or the Jews? Should we push the old school and need something new? Is it atheism, Egyptologists, Hebrew Israelites, flat earthers, herbalists? To get our people right, I'm in Rod Squad, RBG, or New Covenant. Should we work for it? Should we overthrow the government? Should we all go for self, being savages and vultures? Pan-African, or is hip-hop our culture? Is it nationality or correct status? Should we integrate Me Too or Black Lives Matter? Should we hit the streets with the Panthers? Unify the gangs? Is all-out war the right answer? Are we Asiatic or Arabian? Should we just free Dr. York and be Nawapi and a Sabian? Whose words will survive when we purge the lies that curse the divine, cast the pearls to swine? Reverse the design, even merge divide. Side at a TV when two worlds collide. Might hurt to decide just who verbs will vibe. When we curve all the jive, whether girls or guys. No herbs left alive in its earthly skies. Side at a TV when two worlds collide.
Mike, check 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? What's going on? What's going
Yeah,
on?
y'all caught me. Hold on. While y'all was doing that, I put that in my mouth.
Pause. But yeah, definitely. Let's get it. Let's get this in. What's going on? What's going on, Side brother EnQi, Minister EnQi, Dr. EnQi in the building. This debate is long overdue, family. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share this video out. Let people know that we are having a conversation about blackness. It's going down right now in the House of Consciousness. Your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts, is in the building. I'm ready to get this thing popping. What's really good?
All right, so here we go. We got the first round opening. Y'all already know the rules. Brother Lord Abba, you will be starting this debate off. You got 2 minutes in your opening round. Let me get my clock set up, and then we're going to go.
All right. Let me know when you're ready. I want you to still share my screen.
All right, go ahead. You can go. You got 2 minutes in this first round.
All right, share the screen.
Round, opening.
All right, can you remove the no profanity? I mean, I can look on my thing. I can see it. So, 7 ways to identify pseudoscience is the way I'm going to open up tonight's debate, because my opponent is going to utilize a lot of pseudoscience, and I want to give this breakdown. This is how I want to open this up. The use of psychobabble. Number 1, words that sound scientific and professional, but are used incorrectly or in a misleading manner, based on the discussions that I've already had with EnQi and what I know of him going back a few years. This is one of the tactics that he employed. Number 2, a substantial reliance on anecdotal evidence, right? His own evidence. Remember, he keeps saying, I am the source. Forget what everybody else is saying. What I am saying is the truth. No vetting, no anything. What I write down, what I say out of my mouth is the truth. That's pseudoscience. Number 3, extraordinary claims in the absence of extraordinary evidence. Obviously, this brother is not going to be able to provide the evidence to back up the claims that he's going to bring here tonight. And so one of the things he's going to do is he's going to attack the Moorish Science Temple of America and attack the Moorish doctrine. I am no longer a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't promote the doctrine anymore. I took what I needed from it, and it has helped improve my life. I'm somewhere completely different now. Claims which cannot be proven false, meaning he's going to say some stuff that you don't know if it's true or false because nobody's never vetted the stuff, right? It kind of goes back to point number 2. Number 5, claims that counter established scientific fact. Like when we heard Sarnetta say the other day when we were on that brown is light black, right? And Inky agreed with that, but that counters established scientific fact. And I'm going to prove that. Absence of an adequate peer review. Inky has a book. We don't know who's peer-reviewed Inky's book to say that if it's right and exact or if it's not. But we know that Lord Abba has books, and we know that Lord Abba has works out there that have been reviewed, that have been cited in actual academic books. Garfield and Rabon are going to interview Patrick D. Bowen, who cites me about 7 times in one of his books. And number 7, claims that are repeated despite being refuted. We're going to hear a lot of that tonight. And one of the things that I'm going to continually say is I'm not a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Attack them all you want. I've been done with that. So, you know, that is going to go into tonight's topic of are we really black? Are we really white? Or are they really white? And is calling ourselves black something that is degrading and derogatory? I'm going to get right into that when it's my time to go. Peace.
All right, Minister Inky is on you, brother.
Okay, Sai, that was like 3 minutes, brother.
You got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me share my screen. I don't need the extra time, though. I will be sticking within the parameters. In fact, I will not be doing that much talking at all. Let's hit the share screen. All forms of math, science, anatomy, medicine, religion, occult science, Freemasonry lead back to Kemet. Let's go.
The Egyptians knew the Fibonacci sequence in the golden number thousands of years before him and called it the addition sequence. The temple of Edfu, Akhenaten's palaces, are built with the golden rectangle. Here is the Fibonacci sequence 3,700 years ago.
What happened to the video here, sir?
It's up, brother. You don't see it?
Yeah, but it clicked off. My stuff gotta be smooth, sir. Come on now. We can't start this crazy.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So the first thing is I gotta make sure that we keep Lord Abba on the topic. The topic is it degrading to call ourselves black? And are we really black? That is the subject. Now, Lord Abba already came off topic by asking, are white people really white? That has nothing to do with this debate. But anyway, let me go through my intro. All forms of math, science, anatomy, medicine, religion, occult science, Freemasonry lead back to Kemet. Let's go.
The Egyptians knew the Fibonacci sequence in the golden number thousands of years before him and called it the addition sequence. The temple of Khafre, the temple of Edfu, Akhenaten's palaces are built with the golden rectangle. Here is a parade of the Fibonacci sequence 3,700 years ago.
What are you doing to my presentation?
Inky funny as hell. All right, family, you already see what it is. Minister, you all right?
Yeah, but you gotta stop messing with the camera, son. You gotta let this thing happen to Abba.
It's happening. I see you going in. Now, my brother, Lord Abba, are you ready?
Let's go. Let's get it in, fam.
Now, do you have your joint up there and running?
Yep. Do you see it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
This only thing you got to do is share it.
Hold on for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'm trying to see how do I move myself on the bottom and put y'all two at the top. Do anybody know how to do?
I don't think you can do that.
Oh, okay. That's
I didn't know you can do that.
There you go.
I haven't been on in a minute.
Okay, so I got my two debaters at the top of the line. And so right now, Lord Abba, you are first. Let me set the clock. You got 15 minutes in this round, and let's get this thing going. I hope everybody is ready. Your screen is now shared. Time will begin when you're ready. Let me know.
All right. Peace. What's going on, family?
I'm starting.
I mean, without further ado, let's just get right into this thing. This is from a book that was published in 1837 called Researches into the Physical History of Mankind, Ethnography of the African Races by James Pritchard. The thing that I am going to do right now is establish the European psychology. You heard the pre-discussion with Sarnetta and the brothers talking about being black and the white man thinking you black, no matter if you don't think you black, etc., etc., etc. We're going to prove something in this debate, how this is psychological skullduggery that has been played upon our people. So let's get into it. So this is from the book. He's quoting Vivant Denon, who was an earlier archaeologist, and he's giving a description of some of the people, and it reads, some of the people in Africa, different tribes. It says, Denon has thus described them. He says, their skin is of a shining jet black, exactly similar to those of antique bronzes, or exactly similar to that of antique bronzes. They have not the smallest resemblance to the Negroes in the western part of Africa. I can leave it right there. This is for those people that's on Twitter saying that Negro was only confined to the people in the United States of America, our people. It's just false. But notice something in the sentence. Notice the highlighted word and the underlined word. It says their skin is of a shining and jet black. Then it says exactly similar to that of antique bronzes. Well, when you look at what jet black looks like, this is what jet black looks like. Remember, last week I asked Inky, what color is your skin? What was Inky's reply? Inky's reply was that his skin was brown. This is not brown, family. This is not brown. This is black. So when this man is saying that their skin is of a shining and jet black, exactly similar to that of antique bronzes, this is how they trained themselves to see us, and this is how they trained us to see us. So what does antique bronzes look like? This is what antique bronzes look like. It looks like the skin tone of myself and Inky and Sarnetta. And this is just an observational fact. An observational fact. So why would the Europeans say that their skin was jet black, but similar to antique bronzes? You start to see the psychological games that this European has been waging on our minds for centuries. This is a color palette chart that shows all of the skin tones of the human races, or the human race, I should say, from the palest pink to the darkest brown. There's no black there. So Sarnetta said that brown was light black. That is just scientifically false. That is absolutely false. And we know that because when we compare the scale of skin tones next to the scale of black, white, and gray, which are not colors, they are shades. They are technically not colors. There is no brown in there. It goes from black to a light version of black to gray all the way to white. This is observational facts. I don't need to do no pseudoscience or mix anything up. Compare your skin tones. Inky spoke about melanin. That was one of the things that he talked about, right? And this has been a reoccurring theme among black consciousness, quote unquote, that melanin is black. Actually, melanin is not black. It has a black appearance because it is very, very dark brown. It is, and the definition says that it's murky. So when you're looking at the melanin in this melanoma sample and you're comparing it to the chocolate skin of this beautiful African tribeswoman, you can see that her skin is not black. How then do we come to call our beautiful brown chocolate skin by this term black? It doesn't fit here. It doesn't fit there at all. And when you do a comparative analysis with her skin tone, with the skin chart graphs, and with the grayscale graph that goes from black to gray to white, you can clearly see that she is of a brown complexion, that she's not black. This is European psychology, family. This is European psychology. When you go into a coffee shop and you ask for a coffee with no cream, what do you ask for? You say, let me get my coffee black. But coffee is not black. Coffee is brown. They trained their minds to see all things black as brown. And then they trained our minds to see all things brown as black. This is what we call the European psychology, family. There's no such thing as black coffee because coffee is not black. Coffee is brown. Here are other things that we can look at, right? Black rice. I hear people talk about black rice all the time, but when you look at black rice, is it really black? No, it has a pigment called anthocyanins, from the Greek anthos, which means flower, and the Greek word koanos, which means dark blue, also called anthocyanins. And these are water-soluble vacuolar pigments that, depending on their pH levels, may appear to be red, purple, blue, or black. And this is why when you cook black rice, it looks this color right here. I am here today, family, to break us out of this European psychology because we've been utilizing our own minds. We've been utilizing our own minds in the wrong way, and we're tricking ourselves into believing that we are what this European created us to be. We are not black, just like they are not white. So I'm not going off topic, Inky. I'm right on topic. This is from the American Anthropological Association. This is a group in the United States of America of anthropologists. So let us get into what they say about race. It says, from its inception, this is a statement that they put out. From its inception, the modern concept of race was modeled after an ancient theorem of the great chain of being, which posited natural categories on a hierarchy established by God or nature. Thus, race, quote unquote, was a mode of classification linked specifically to peoples in the colonial situation. It submerged a growing ideology of inequality, devised to rationalize European attitudes and treatment of the conquered and enslaved people. Proponents of slavery, in particular, during the 19th century, used race to justify the retention of slavery. This is why they called us black. This is why they call us black today. The ideology magnified the differences among Europeans. Africans and Indians established a rigid hierarchy of socially exclusive categories, uncensored, and bolstered unequal rank and status differences, and provided the rationalization that the inequality was natural or God-given. The different physical traits of African Americans and Indians became markers or symbols of their status differences. This is what they did by calling us black and calling them white. If I had enough time, I could break this whole thing down, but we have time constraints. It continues. As they were constructing U.S. society, leaders among European Americans fabricated the cultural, behavioral characteristics associated with each race. This is something that they created. They created race, linking superior traits with Europeans and negative and inferior ones to blacks and Indians. They should have used the term Africans and Indians here. They just continued the psychology, the bad psychology, I should say. Numerous arbitrary and fictitious beliefs about the different peoples were institutionalized and deeply embedded in American thought. Early in the 19th century, the growing fields of science began to reflect the public consciousness about human differences. Differences among the quote unquote racial categories were projected to their greatest extreme when the argument was posed that Africans, Indians, and Europeans were separate species, with Africans the least human and closer taxonomically to apes. meaning blacks, at the bottom of the race pyramid, while the European who called himself white was at the top. This is their thing. Remember, EnQi asked us a question. He asked me a question. Who was more influential on our people? Was it Elijah Muhammad or was it the white man? Well, Elijah Muhammad carried on this white man's European psychology. He said, "Curse be to the black man or woman who loves this open enemy, the devil, and hates his own black skin and kind." Remember, I asked EnQi a question. What color is your skin? He said brown. He said brown. The Europeans divided the human race up by colors. Elijah Muhammad adopted this. He said the black nation, including its other three colors, brown, red, and yellow, outnumber the Caucasian race, right? He says the European has white skin. I'm gonna skip down to the bottom one. He says this. He said, "For your information, nigger is the Latin word for black. So why are you ashamed of it?" And that's a quote, Sonetta. So, I don't know how YouTube is going to do that. But when you look at this word in the etymological dictionary, you see exactly the progression from Niger, that's the proper way to pronounce the word, to Negro, to the French négri, which is where you get that J sound in Niger from today, to nigger, to the word nigger that we have today. This is just an actual fact. This is what these people called us. This is how they viewed us, right? And don't just take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. This is, hold on. This is Dr. Let me pause this for a minute. This is Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwao, the permanent representative of the African Union to the United States. This is somebody from Zimbabwe. This is somebody that studied from Africa. So let her tell you what
they came with a strategy that would see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. To start with, when the colonizers came to Africa, we didn't have the issue of color.
We didn't have the issue of color.
Did not exist in our language.
It didn't exist in
we
their
were
language.
Africans. The missionaries were sent in with specific instructions to make the Africans believe that everything African was bad and everything European was better and more desirable. They put in motion a process of making us dislike that which was ours and go all out to embrace what the new invader was bringing to our beloved continent. I have to give it to them. They did a very good job at doing that. They hit us where it hurt the most, the mind. The missionaries taught us about white angels. The missionaries taught us about the devil who was black. The missionaries are white, like the angels. And that when we go to church, we must worship the white angels. And definitely want nothing to do with the black devil who looks like us. Subliminal messaging. Subliminal messaging. That's where we began the self-hate, the mistrust of each other, the lack of appreciation, an idea that is coming from your brother, an idea that is coming from your sister, because we are taught to dislike anything to do with us. That, my brothers and sisters, was level one, number one level of destroying the African, the mind.
The mind, she said, and this is just common knowledge among academics, those that really study this race thing. She said that they came in and called them black and had us call them white. This is common knowledge. This is from an early Webster's dictionary. Notice it says black man, a Negro, and then it says the devil next to it, right? Here's another source from 1922, a dictionary of English phrases, phraseological allusions, catchwords, and other stuff. I didn't put all of it there. It says what? Black man, the devil. Nobody looks like this, family. We don't look like this. So if we don't look like this, if our skin is not black, why is it that we are calling ourselves black? Family, it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to wake up. A new day is dawning. Let me know where I'm at on time, side, because I'm good on that first round.
You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, family, a new day is dawning. A new spiritual movement is about to arrive, and I'm helping to put that together right now. It is time. This is how we defeat this European. There's a reason why Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Sidney Poitier, these people are called the first black this and the first black that. And it's because of they wanted to put this curse on the American freedmen. Muhammad Ali, he said when he went into a restaurant and they served the black Africans, he said their skins was blue purple and they served them. Then when he went in there, they said, no, we ain't serving you. We're not serving no Negroes, meaning we're not serving the American Negro. This is a part of the curse. The Africans refused to even be, the African diplomats refused to even be called black. The State Department had proposed giving all African diplomats pins to wear on their lapels, proving that they didn't just see them the same as us, but they saw us in a special type of way, an evil type of way. And it is time for us to break out of that, family. And I'm here. I mean, my first round is done. To me, this debate is over with. I don't see how anything Inky says could defeat that, or anything he presents will show and prove to the contrary. Peace.
All right, remove your screen. You had 3 seconds left, but that's all right. Remove your screen. Minister Inky, are you ready?
Yeah, hold on. I'm not ready yet. Hold on. Listen, stop.
Yes.
I need you to not put that stuff up on the screen because I want people to be able to.
I know. Go ahead. I just did that because Lord Abba was showing the video.
Okay. Also, I want my 3-minute rebuttal to run into my 15 minutes. I just want to run the whole thing straight through. Okay.
All right. So you got 18 minutes and counting. Go ahead, brother. Time will start when you're ready.
All right. I'm ready. So, first things first. Lord Abba showed a melanoma cancer cell and called it melanin. That is as unscientific as you can get. That's number one. Number two, he played a video of a lady that said, historically, we called ourselves African. We have never called Africans still today don't call themselves African. Somebody from Nigeria says I'm Nigerian. Somebody like that is the way that I can't even believe he wasted that time. Anyway, let's get into the actual information now. So first things first, I just want to say that the science from today's presentation, you can grab on Amazon, and we will make sure we stick to the topic. Couple of questions that I will ask and answer. If humanity has fallen, what was its highest point? Answer. The time of Kemet and Sumer. Both civilizations refer to themselves as black. Question number two. If humanity's salvation is the land, as we see demonstrated in his doctrine, what color is fertile land? Black. Is fertile black land a result of natural processes or a social construct? We know the answer to that. In fact, the dirt or dust the Circle 7 Quran teaches that man is made from and returns to is what color? Black. The morgue already needs a mortician and a room in the morgue. You my student. Student enrollment. Question number one. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man. Who made the Holy Quran or Bible? How long ago? Will you tell us why? Does Islam renew her history every 25,000 years? The Holy Quran or Bible is made by the original people who is Allah, the supreme being or black man. Who is the 5% in the poor part of the earth? They are the poor righteous teachers who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%, which is all he's given us, and are all wise and know who the living God is and teach that the living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man. Now, this is the actual subject of the debate. By calling ourselves black, are we degrading ourselves? Are we really black? So as I demonstrated already, which you already know, our highest point in status on this planet was when we called ourselves black. Round number one. If you want to play politics, I want y'all to vote on this. Which name has the richest history? Moor, starting in 610 AD, African American, which started in 1865, or black, which comes from Kemet and Sumer, 6200 BC. The definition of degrade is to deprive of office, dignity, or honors, or to reduce from a higher to a lower rank. Which historical narrative is most degrading? Cast your vote. My story starts almost 2 decades ago when my daughter on August 28th got ran over by a car. Her spine was broken in 3 places. The doctor said she would never walk again. How did I learn how to repair my daughter? Comedic science. Comedic science saved us when European science did not. Comedic green is a mixture of hydrosilicate, iron, magnesium, and potassium. I learned how light controlled the periodic table. That allowed me to create swatch momatomics. I learned how the spine works from studying Shu and the Jed pillar. I even learned that the pyramid was made out of sea moss. That's why we have the blue magic based on Ptah, the master of all masons. My reward for following my heart was not only healing my daughter, but my first set of twins was born a few years later on the same day, August 28th. So I named them Falcon and Osiris. I then discovered that Osiris' story is about diabetes. The number one problem Black people have in America is disease. We lead in diabetes, heart disease, cancer, AIDS, asthma, you name it. And the cause is not mucus, the cause is ignorance. Hosea 4:6. My people die for lack of knowledge because y'all reject knowledge because y'all know it's coming from me. Y'all don't want to be Black, so y'all don't see the value in investing the time or money in studying what Black genetics is or how Black genetics works, but you're going to learn today. As a holistic healer, I have to get to the root of the sickness. And this is it. The Circle 7 book, which copied the first 19 chapters from the Aquarian Gospel, and then chapters 20 to 45 from the Rosicrucian book, Unto Thee I Grant, which is stolen, fake, comedic science. Here you see in the Circle 7, No Jurali calls himself Egyptian, which he does all throughout their program, but then says that no human race has ever been Black or colored. Now, we have to separate Black from color because those are 2 different things, and I'm going to show the definition. By genetics, there is 4 races of people. By genetics, you melanin Black, you melanin brown, pheomelanin, and albino. Nationalities are social constructs. Going to the comment section, somebody said that Abba said that Black is a natural process pertaining to the iris, and then Inky tried to spin it to pigmentation. No, dumb. You have at least 4 pigments in the eye that lead to the RPE, the retinal pigment epithelium. Furthermore, they said Abba was clear that he wasn't talking about the MSTA, blah, 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 blah. Lord Abba said that was personal, but like I just showed you, that's the root of this problem. Then he said that Black means death, and I'm going to show you that more means death and that he's been playing word games this whole time. Here's a famous saying: we are but mere mortals. The word root mort comes from the Latin mors and means death. Here's the definition. This is what they don't want to show you. Mort, a flourished sound of a horn at the death of the quarry. Old French, mort, meaning dead, from the Latin mortem, accusative of what? Mors, meaning death. The root mer, to rub away harm, also to die, and forming words referring to death and to being subject to death. Okay? So for better example, more means death by Mr. Civil Little Mortus. Amort, amortization, moribund, mortality, mortgage, mortician, mortizan, mortiferous, mortific, mortified, mortality, mortinacious, mortuary, moraine, neomart, neomartia, oxymortia, premortal, premortient, self-mortification, morgue, mortal, morons. Need I say more? Now, the word bey, the term bey comes from a governor of a Turkish district, 1590s, from Turkish bey, a title of honor in princely families, the Osmanli equivalent of, what does that say? The Turkish word beg. What does beg mean? Beggar, begging, beg, poverty, begging, to beg the question, to beg off, obtain a release by what? Entreaty, which is the very same thing the Moors are always promoting. We got some treaties from 1928 and 1738, and no, knock it off. Stop begging. Moors, the term Moor is an exonym first used by Christian Europeans to designate Muslim populations of the Maghreb, Al-Andalus, Sicily, Malta in the Middle Ages. Moors are not a single, distinct, or self-defined people. The 1911 Encyclopedia Britannica observed that the term had no real ethnological value. Europeans of the Middle Ages and the modern period variously applied the term to Arabs, Berbers, and Muslim Europeans. You will see that the Moors are the people that enslaved, raped, and literally ate your ancestors. The etymology of the word Moor is uncertain, although it could be traced back to the Phoenician term Mahrun, meaning Westerners. Osiris is known as the first of the Westerners in his position as Lord of the Dead. These people have been trying to steal your identity for almost 10,000 years. Moor either means dead or followers of Osiris. These are the European racist books that he quotes from, and this is where they teach from. Moors teach white supremacy just like Unc. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to quote from those books. I'm going to use Lord Abba's work. And Abba, listen, you could turn your mic on and say pineapples or uncle, and I'll stop. Here's from Lord Abba's book. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Here's Lord Abba. This paper intends to show the historical records that verify the above quote said by Noble Drew Ali, extracted from what was first thought to be a strange doctrine. Remember, Lord Abba asked for this. This is in Lord Abba's paper. Mac Ritchie, quoting early British accounts, unambiguously identifies the Moors and the Egyptians as one people. In this work, Moor and Egyptian, as per the references cited, are used interchangeably in early Europe. Egyptian Moors, also called Black people, are clearly one and the same. Abba describes the Moors as Black and as Egyptians in his own paper. Why is he doing this? You know why? Because he is in on the scam, and this is why he quit the temple and won't tell you why. This is the charter that the Moorish people use in their temple. Notice that they use pyramids and Masonic information, which all clearly come back from Kemet. This is where the scam is. They charge you money to make you a 14th American citizen, which you already are, to bring you back into the fold of the Constitution as Moorish what? Moorish Americans, not Moroccans or Moabites, but Moorish Americans. This is the scam. Why haven't the aliens from Rizk busted Dr. York or Polite out of jail?
All right, time, Minister Inky. I stopped your time. You got 7:20. I don't want no slander because that's what it is right now. Lord Abba, don't do that, brother. He's not with, he don't sell no thing, he don't sell none of that. So I want to keep it on the level.
That's not slander, bro. I'm talking about the Moorish Science Temple of America. You already cut my intro video in the half. Now you cutting my first round.
Hold on. I still got your time. Stop. So I paused.
I know, but you interrupted my momentum, bro.
Right.
You watch sports. What are you doing right now?
Right, go ahead, brother. I just want to make sure this is clean. That's all. I don't want no.
This is facts. This is facts. These are facts. It's facts.
I apologize, brother. Go on. Go ahead.
Why haven't the aliens from Riz busted Dr. York or Polite out of jail? The same reason that Noble Drew Ali could bend steel bars and levitate and disappear, but could not get out of jail for fraud. This is facts. Hold on. More's out there saying that herbs and vegan diets and exercise is scamming. Meanwhile, their founder was in jail for using crystal balls to cure paralysis. Here's a flyer from Noble Drew Ali himself in the early days. The prophet Noble Drew Ali would be tied up with several yards of rope as Jesus was bound in the temple at Jerusalem and escaped before the authorities could take charge of him. So will the prophet Drew Ali perform the same miracles after being bound by anyone in the audience and escape in seconds. He will also heal many in the audience without touching them, free of charge, as they stand in front of their seats, manifesting his divine power. This right here is the teacher of Noble Drew Ali. He never went to India. He never went to Egypt. He learned from a man named William Atkins that wrote the Kabbalion and disguised himself as three ancient initiates from Kemet. Okay, this is a old white man, and this is why they have old white ideology in their doctrine. The same as this, the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablets was plagiarized from Kemetic papyri that was stolen in the year 820 by Caliph al-Mu'min's workmen with battering rams and explosives when they blew a hole in the pyramid. They stole the papyri and then renamed them the Emerald Tablets and then claimed to invent algebra. And clearly, if we could look right there and look at the name Al-Gebra, you could see where the origins of algebra came from. When the Prophet Muhammad began his holy war in 632, they introduced the very first sugar plantations in Egypt. The Moors were the first people to enslave blacks and make sugar plantations, and they worked with the Europeans to enslave black people. And this is why they're trying to steal black history as their own. This is why Kevin Hart couldn't go over there, because Kevin Hart was going to perform his comedy show and say that the Egyptians was really black, and they stopped him from coming over there. This book right here documents that those same Moors were the first people to actually eat the mummies long before Napoleon got there. Now, back to Lord Abba's paper. Did you know that Lord Abba named himself after the Prophet Muhammad's uncle named Abba? Here is the description in Lord Abba's book of this Prophet Muhammad's family. Al-Jaziz, an important Moorish scholar of the 9th century Baghdad, noted in his book Fiqh al-Sudan, Allah al-Bidan, the boast of the blacks over the whites, that Sudan means black. The 10 lordly sons of, what are you doing, Sab? The 10 lordly sons of Abd el-Muttalib were deep black in color and big and tall. Those of al-Talib's family, who were the most noble of men, more or less are black. This account is important because it speaks to the racial identity of the family of Prophet Muhammad. Lord Abba clearly tells you in his paper in plain English that black is lordly. He describes the Prophet Muhammad family as black in his own paper. Sudan, the kingdom of Meroe, flourished between 800 BC and 350 AD with pyramids and iron furnaces in Kush. Most importantly, Sud links them to Kemet because of the soil. This is why Sudan was known as the country of the blacks. For the record, Lord Abba says that no human being is black. No man or group of men are born with black skin. This is an observational fact. As he proved earlier when he showed the charts that clearly started from black and went down to pale, when he showed a melanoma cell, a cancer cell, and tried to pass it off to the audience as an actual demonstration of melanin. Lastly, back to the Moorish Science Temple, which is a religious organization, and this is very important. This is when Noble Drew Ali incorporated his religious organization in 1913. Here is the original paper that he did it with. And you know what he did when he did that? He took an oath to the state of Illinois. Here is the oath. I, Timothy Drew, do solemnly swear that at a meeting of the members, blah, 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 blah. You can all Google the Illinois Religious Corporation Act 805 ILCS 110 right now and read the oath that Timothy Drew took to the state of Illinois to do what? Put y'all back into the fold of the Constitution of the so-called quote-unquote colonizer. Moorish science is just religion. And guess what? Religion is not a nation or a nationality. A religion cannot grant you nationality or sell you nationality. Here's the law. Nationality of corporations. Nationality must be derived either from the fact of incorporation, that is, creation as a legal person within the given system of domestic law, which means that the nationality of a company is based on where the company is incorporated or its founder. And since Timothy Drew was born in North Carolina and his company was incorporated in New Jersey and Chicago, that means that nobody signing up to the Moorish American Temple is anything other than an American. Okay? So this is important. This is not off the topic because we have to understand what? By calling ourselves black, are we degrading ourselves? Are we really black? We have to get to the root.
1 minute and 30 seconds, brother.
Listen, we have to get to the root of that. So when we establish that our highest civilizations, was at the time when we called ourselves black, in Kemet, in Sudan, in Sumer, as the Sagiga, right? Or the Saigigi people. When we created all of the written languages, all of the written sciences, all of the written mathematics, every name that we have called ourselves since that time has been a downgrade. We haven't built no pyramids, invented no sciences, or did anything universally magnificent since that time. So when we're paying attention to what we're doing here in this debate, we need you to analyze when was our highest status as Black folks when we talk about the fall of humanity. We got to think about where we fell from. And when we think about our highest status that we enjoyed on this planet in written history, it was the time when we called ourselves Black.
19 seconds.
We good.
Brother, you got to relax, Inky. Sometime like as you talking, I might do this. Switch just to catch the expression. See, I switch the pace to catch the expression, then I go right back to the thing. You read it, so nobody gonna miss nothing. So, Lord Abba, you got the floor, brother.
All right.
Now, hold on, brother. Right now, we got Minister Inky. 60% to 40% is leading in the votes as of right now. So you better try to make up some ground coming into your second round. And your second round is 10 minutes. If you want the whole 13 minutes, like Inky did. No,
I could do the 13 minutes. I could do the 13.
Okay, so
let me just say before you start my time, obviously, if any scholar was to look at
bro, you got to do your rounds within your rounds. You can't try to sneak extra time in.
Hey, but hold on.
13 minutes, Abba.
Hold on, Inky, hold on. Lord Abba, Inky is right. I got it.
All right, I got you. No doubt. Okay, let's get it in.
You can use that with your rebuttal.
Let's get it in.
So you got 13 minutes, man, with your 10 minutes in your rebuttal, 13. Let's go.
All right, I got you.
When you ready.
All right, is up? We up?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at his claims, because now I'm going somewhere else now. This is not, the brother is not on topic, and this is my time, so I could talk. He did exactly what I said he was going to do. He didn't prove that Blackness wasn't what I said it was. He just talked about the MST of A. So let's look at this real quick. Mortuary, right? And it gives you the original meaning, mortuare, which is a customary gift due to the minister of a parish on the death of a parishioner, right? This is the original meaning of it. Then it morphs into what we have today with the Latin adjective mortuorius, pertaining to the dead, from the Latin mortus, past participle of mori, to die, from the Proto-Indo-European root mer, mer, to rub away, harm, also to die, and forming words referring to death and to being subject to death. So let's look at a list of this is all on Edamon.com. I have no weird Egyptian pictures that I drew with a stencil up on the screen. This is just screenshots of stuff, right? But look at all of the words that forms from the root of myrrh. Amaranth, which is a grain. When you eat the amaranth is very healthy. Dr. Sebi spoke about it a lot, right? When you eat it, are you dying? Ambrosia, right? Let's find some of the immortal. What else? Mortal, mortgage. Like this idea that more means death is whack, and it's something that I debunked years ago, and I never got a chance to get at this brother right here, Smash Rockwell, for this particular article. So I'm gonna address that more part a little bit with a slight dig at our brother Smash Rockwell. So this is the glyph for Cam, right? We know that this is also the word ham. Brother Rabon and Garfield was saying that there was no such thing as ham. Well, this is what ham is. Ham is in fact Cam. And we see that one of the meanings for Cam is Egypt. And we're looking at the determinatives, and we see the burnt, some call it charcoal, some call it the alligator tail. I think it's burnt charcoal because it represents black. And the determinatives with the X means land, absolutely. And we see that in every single glyph, right? Now we know that this MR forms the root of the word pyramid. It forms the root of the word. And if you were to pronounce it without with trying to insert pronunciations, you would say Mer. You would, if you tried to pronounce MR as a word, you would say Mer, right? So we see that, and all of this is coming from Wallace Budge's Egyptian dictionary. I don't have to go too deep on this, but I'm gonna touch on it, right? So we see Mera, and we see that it says Si Ta Mera, right? And we see the determinative there for land, which means that Mera obviously means land or country. And we see that in the glyph. And I believe this is what Smash Rockwell got wrong back in those days when he drafted up that paper. Because here it says Tamera or Tamere means the land, Mera, meaning Egypt, right? And he stuck it there because Moors were doing some pseudo stuff until I came on the scene and had to correct. Y'all call yourself the Adjustment Bureau. I'm the claims adjuster. I adjust the claims, and I'm adjusting Inky's claims right now. But one of the things that he didn't pull was this particular glyph that says Tamar Al, the people of the land of the Nile flood, the Egyptians. This, if you were to look at Egypt as we do the United States of America, and in the United States of America, it has citizens, this glyph is showing and representing the fact that these are the citizens of Egypt, and this is their name, the Ta Mer Al. If we separate the mer, because Ta means land of, and when you look at the Al, it's the plural. That's why those three dots is there, the three slashes, excuse me, is after the woman, and it says the people of the land of the Nile flood. The land of the Nile flood is Kim, because that's where the darkness is at. That's where the black soil is at. You know, just a little light work, Mer again, right? We going back to what did Mer mean in Egypt, as opposed to the way Inky is trying to use it to mean death with mortuary, etc., etc. And we see that it's on the Mediterranean Stela as a desert plain and a mountain, right? Mer and Meru. These are ancient names as well. So we tie the name of the people also with the name of these lands. Here are some more examples out of Budge's dictionary. Mer, overseer, chief officer, head superintendent, director, foreman. Mer, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I may butcher it. The people that dabble in the Egyptian languages, y'all can correct me on it. Mer'at, I'm going to try to pronounce it. Inspector of dignities of the highest kind. Meru'at, of families, sheiks, and tribes, right? What is being relayed here? Inspector of dignities of the highest kind. This MR, and we see the hieroglyph there, the plow and the open mouth, Reggie. I know you see it, which represents the MR. It's being used here for a reason. The pyramid is a man-made mountain, and the mountain is chief in the mythos of many early ancient civilizations. In the Bible, you have several references to Mount Moriah, Mount Zion. You have Mount Olympus in Greece, etc., etc., etc. So this term more is to show that this is a high thing, not something that's dead in the way that Inky is trying to present it. Here are more glyphs. Overseer, right? If you stood on top of the pyramid, would you not be able to see over everything? Overseer of the estates, land superintendent, Mera, chief of the caravan, Mer and Set, chief of a mountain tract. There are some more. Like we, just gonna run through some of these real quick because the brother just made up a bunch of stuff, and we gotta check this stuff. Mer-Per, chief of the house. Mer-Per, chief steward. Mer-Per Noob, overseer of the gold foundry. Mer-Per Hetch, overseer of the silver foundry. See, when we're looking at that word forming MR and how it relates to the Egyptian people themselves and how it relates to the pyramids, there is no way that this brother could make it appear as if the word more today means death. And we know that there's an ancient connection, right, to the Moors in Egypt. And I know people over the years have said Gerald Massey was pseudo, but one of the things that John Henry Clark said was he was one of the people that kind of gave them a foundation that they could build off and correct the things that he was wrong about. But this is from his book of the Beginnings, volume 2, where he states on page 590 that the Mori name is that of the later Moors of a land under the Tropic of Cancer and northwest of the equator, as well as Ethiopia, the typical birthplace, and the name of the Moors found on the monuments is written Mori or Morai, right? So that's one source. Ancient and modern Britons, Inky been doing his research because he went into my stuff. So now he knows a little bit more. But let's pull from ancient modern Britons again, because he forgot this part where it says, and again, the ugly Moors of heraldry with their black skins, thick lips. Remember, these are how Europeans are defining them. Inky is lying, saying that that's the way that I'm defining them. I'm just quoting them verbatim. And again, the ugly Moors of heraldry with their black skins, thick lips, and pearls pendant, meaning that earring, are virtually the same as the earringed, black, and hideous Egyptians who trooped into Bologna about 5 centuries ago. So I have a preponderance, I have weighty evidence, and I can get so much deeper than this. But let's go into George G.M. James's Stolen Legacy, where he says, in addition, the Moors kept up constant contact with Mother Egypt, for they had established caliphates not only at Baghdad and Cordoba, but also at Cairo in Egypt. Europe in the Middle Ages, by all, he's citing his source. Just here, it would be well to mention that all the great leaders of the great religions of antiquity were initiates of the Egyptian mystery system, from Moses, who was an Egyptian hieroglyph, down to Christ. So he brings up Noble Drew Ali. I can go there, right? So Noble Drew Ali takes the symbolism from Egypt. He calls us Moors. He puts gives us a theophoric name by adding El, the name of the god of ancient Canaan, onto our names, and he merges these things together because this was a region that at times had certain empires had power. And at this time, Egypt reigned for a very, very long time. So that's why he used that symbology. That's why you see him calling himself an Egyptian adept. All of it ties in. I don't know what I'm looking like on time, Sarnetta, but I want to give this message to the people.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay, I want to give this message. We have for years torn each other down. For years, right? We have used information as cudgels, weapons to beat each other upside the head with. If I'm wrong on any of this, don't go making a video talk about, oh, Lord Abba is a pseudo. No, correct me so that I can learn better and I can get the proper information. This is what we're supposed to be doing as a so-called conscious community. The Europeans are doing it. Why can't we? There are court cases I read where Moors were doing the pseudo sovereign citizen stuff that I stopped doing in 2008. I don't know what Inky is talking about. 2008, where they had to employ fact finders. And in these court cases, they're citing from books, historical books about the Moors. We're not doing that. We are separating the scholarship from the politics, from the judiciary. All we want to do is just beat up on each other. At some point in time, we have to come out of that, family. I gave my presentation. It is what it is. There's no way that Inky can refute anything that I said. I don't think that nobody can refute anything that I presented here tonight. You may be able to correct me on a thing or two, but that's going to be about it. I'm done. Peace.
All right, Minister Inky, let's go. Time will start when you're ready. Let's go.
Yeah, you can start my time now. When Drew Ali calls us Egyptians, oh wait, you didn't hit the share screen yet, sir. What's going on? Hello?
You're not sharing anything.
It should be there.
Nothing there, brother. Now I see it.
Okay.
Let me start your time over.
Yep, definitely.
All right, let's get it.
When Drew Ali calls us Egyptian, you do know that he's calling us black. They want to steal your birthright to math and science. Your ancestors created all of the math and science around this globe, and it's about time that I take you on a tour to show you this.
As soon as the Nile returned to its bed, a big problem had arisen. Field limits had disappeared. It was then necessary to retrace the limits of the fields of each peasant and start sowing as soon as possible. And they had to be traced correctly to avoid disputes. Therefore, the Egyptians began to draw straight lines, rectangles, squares, diagonals, circles, and triangles with strings and sticks. Everything was noted on papyrus. It was the beginning of geometry. They understood a fundamental function of nature. Everything is divided or assembled in small equal units. This observation will serve them throughout their discoveries. They also needed a unit of measure to properly demarcate the plots. Geometry is good, but after all, you must measure the lines. They considered the king's foot. The length of the king's foot could be used as a standard. This standard would be multiplied and distributed throughout the kingdom. They considered the feet, arms, legs, and elbows of the king, but there was a problem. This unit was not fixed. There would be no problem during his reign, but all the kings were not the same size. The next king would surely want to use his foot or his elbow out of pride. In the hills, waiting for the retreat of the Nile, the Egyptians thought and looked for a solution to the problem. This unit of measurement would have to have a fixed length in time, if possible, never change. They observed the size of different plants, fruits, seeds, any object in nature. But all these objects did not have a constant size. For example, if we water a seed well, the following year its size will have changed. And over long distances, small differences quickly became significant. Then, they had the idea to measure, fresh water from the Nile. They measured one drop and then another. They were all the same size. From the lower Nile to the upper Nile, the drops were the same size. They noticed that the size of the water drop did not change year after year. It's wonderful. The Egyptians found a unique unit. The diameter of the drop of water on a waterproof surface, like granite or alabaster, is constant. It measures 1 centimeter. They named this small unit the royal finger. 10 drops of water or 10 royal fingers equals 1 royal hand. 100 drops of water, so 100 royal fingers or 10 royal hands, distances, small differences quickly became significant. Then, they had the idea to measure, fresh water from the Nile. They measured one drop and then another. They were all the same size. From the lower Nile to the upper Nile, the drops were the same size. They noticed that the size of the water drop did not change year after year. It's wonderful. The Egyptians found a unique unit. The diameter of the drop of water on a waterproof surface, like granite or alabaster, is constant. It measures 1 centimeter. They named this small unit the royal finger. 10 drops of water or 10 royal fingers equals 1 royal hand. 100 drops of water, so 100 royal fingers or 10 royal hands equals 1 royal leg. Centuries later, these discoveries were taken out of secret coffers and renamed. The royal finger was called the centimeter, the royal hand the decimeter, and the royal leg the meter. They were presented as recent discoveries, and the French appropriated them, made in France. The diameter of the drop of fresh water measures what is now called 1 centimeter. Water is a universal constant. The size of the drop of fresh water will never change for thousands and millions of years. Yes, the universal unit, the meter, was not invented in 1780, but it was discovered by the Egyptians millennia ago. The meter is a universal unit because it is measured on water. Water is the only material that is stable. All other materials or objects are difficult to measure, or else they vary over time. The architecture of the entire universe is constructed with this unit. Using the meter, this immutable unit, were defined the 6 fundamental units of physics and chemistry today. Amperes, Celsius, moles, candelas, seconds, and kilograms. So, everything.
Everything. Everything, Abba.
Now that the Egyptians had discovered the meter, they could trace the plots without a problem. With the meter, they measured everything and recorded everything.
Okay, please take that down.
They took a disc with the diameter of a royal leg and wrapped a string around it. They unrolled the string and measured it. The parameter of the disc was 3 royal legs and 14 royal fingers, or 314 royal fingers. A disc with a diameter of 10 unrolled corresponded to 31 units and 4 subunits. A disc with a diameter of 1 corresponded to 3 units and to 14 subunits. One number stood out each time: 314, 31.4, 3.14. They thought this number was important. This figure is pi, 3.14. Egyptians knew pi with precision long before Archimedes. From this experience, they also deduced the decimal system. They cut the disc into 6, measured it on the royal leg, the meter. They got the number 52 centimeters and 36 subunits, millimeters. They wrote it down and thought this was important. During their observations, they noted that the volume of a sphere represents 52.36% the volume of a cube. Whenever the volume of the cube and the sphere increases proportionally, this number does not vary. In so doing, they discovered one of the most important universal constants, kept secret: the number 52.36. Twice, in volumes and forms, this number is everywhere. They conclude that this number is sacred. The Egyptians discovered the number 52.36, which is a universal constant like pi and phi. The number 52.36 is an important universal constant, more than pi and the golden ratio, since it connects 2D space with that of 3D. Now, how does one incorporate this sacred number? They put a stick on the royal leg, the meter, which is divided into 100 units. They cut the stick so that it made 52 royal fingers and 36 subunits. The royal cubit was born. The royal cubit equals 52.36 drops of water, or 52.36 centimeters. From then on, all of Egypt would have as a standard a universal constant, the royal cubit. The Egyptian royal cubit as presented in museums, 28 fingers or 7 palms, is incomprehensible. It is disguised so that the people do not understand the origin of this cubit. It doesn't matter who disguised the cubit, but when you put it on a meter, it displays 52 centimeters, 30 millimeters, and 6/10 of a millimeter. It becomes a universal constant. It takes on all its meaning. They invented another measure, half the meter minus 5 millimeters, called the Babylonian royal cubit. They used these 2 standards, and the meter was deliberately hidden. It is for this reason that we find the meter everywhere in the Great Pyramid, since the royal cubit is graduated on the meter. Any other unit, the yard, the inch, the mile, the nautical mile, the pica, the foot, are all arbitrary or graduated on the meter. There is nothing universal or unchanging in nature that measures 1 inch, 1 yard, or a mile. The whole number 8 is divided by pi. The result, 2.54, will be graduated to the meter. The imperial system unit is born.
As you can see, The highest status that we enjoyed in written history was when we called ourselves Black. Every name that we've called ourselves since then has been a downgrade.
We are now in 2560 BC. First, it is necessary to select the construction site. They examine the Giza Plateau. Then, they measure the quantity of clay limestone. Depending on the volume of the limestone, they determine the size of the pyramid. Here in Giza, there is white and dark clay limestone. The plan is to make a pyramid with dark limestone for the interior and white limestone for the exterior. Above the present hill, there was soft clay limestone about 11 meters thick, which made a hill 30 meters high at the time. Here is how high the soft limestone wall was at the time. 11 meters of clay limestone represents approximately 7 to 8 million cubic meters, which is more than enough to build 3 pyramids with mastabas all around. The volume of the Great Pyramid is only 2.6 million cubic meters. That's what this represented seen from the side. It is almost imperceptible seen from far away. At the location of the tunnels and the underground chamber, there was a cavity about 30 meters. The place is chosen. It will be the Giza Plateau. Before starting the pyramid, the Egyptians established a model. Here are examples of models. A miniature limestone model of the apartments of the Hawara Pyramid. The construction of this monument absolutely required a careful preliminary plan. The architecture of the pyramid was determined based on a very precise and detailed plan. Everything that was thought of from the start was carried out and scrupulously respected. To build a pyramid, you must choose the shape of the triangle. The question is, what triangle? This is a triangle. This one too. There is a choice from 230,000 triangles and 110 million possibilities to make a pyramid. But the Egyptians chose only one, the only one, the perfect one. According to their sacred principles, they laid a base that measures 440 cubits. Then they divided the base by pi, or 140 cubits. That, multiplied by 2, equals 280 cubits. The result is the height of the pyramid. And the apothem divided by half the base equals 1.618. The Egyptians absolutely wanted to integrate the constants pi and the golden ratio. The pyramid became sacred since it was built with the cubit 52.36, the royal constant, and the meter. 4 universal constants were linked together in this building. There was no such thing as chance. 50 centimeters more or less, and pi disappeared from the pyramid. The Egyptologists would have been relieved. Phew, there is no pi. But no, the Egyptians did not make any mistakes. They built a pyramid 280 cubits high and 440 cubits wide. The pyramid is exceptionally precise, to within 1 centimeter, which shows the pi value very precisely. The Great Pyramid is the largest man-made expression of pi and the golden ratio visible on Earth. Khufu's son Khafre chose another concept for his pyramid, that of the sacred triangle, 3, 4, 5, in symmetry, the Pythagorean triangle. By the way, it would seem that Pythagoras never existed.
Whatever's politically correct, I'm a learning nigga. My day ones was all trained to point lead like a sharpener. My father was a mason, his father was a carpenter. My iridology reveals a dichotomy, gangster or prophet. My psyche is psychology on top of beatboxes. A mill off detoxes, vegan, the shoes gated, the coat, 3 foxes. It's all contradictory, you can't do shit to me. I died already, every breath is a gift to me.
That is the highest form of civilization, and we called ourselves Black then. Until you could demonstrate a higher form of civilization on this planet, this debate is over. 3-0.
Woo, man, that was a powerful, powerful round for Minister Inky. Both debaters are doing great. Oh, man, damn. All right.
So Netta, you're a very gracious host, my brother. You're a
both debaters are
very gracious host.
And so, Lord Abba, this is your last and final round. Let me know when you're ready. You got 13 minutes, 10 minutes in your debate, 3 minutes in your rebuttal. They all together. Let's get it, man. Time.
All right.
When you ready?
Let me see. Hold on. Share my screen.
I told y'all, man. I told y'all Inky was a force. I told you Lord Abba is a force. I'm hoping y'all learning something from these brothers. Your screen is up, Lord Abba.
All right, hold on. Why is it?
Different topic, y'all. You see, we ain't dealing with the religion today. It's a total different topic other than religion. Let's get it. I'm loving it.
All right, this is what my brother Ali Bey put together. Shout out to Brother Ali Bey. Shout out to Be the Power. Shout out to the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Shout out to all.
Starts.
Okay, no doubt. Shout out to all my Freedmen conscious family out there, those of us that's fighting for remedial justice right now. Y'all know who y'all are. So let's start from here because I want to get back to the topic. Past attempts at an ethnic name of record. Leaders say blacks want to be called African American. Chicago, Associated Press, a group of black leaders, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson, says members of their race would prefer to be called African Americans rather than blacks. Just as we were called colored, but we're not that, and then Negro, but not that, to be called black is just as baseless. Jackson said at a news conference Monday after a meeting of the black leaders, quote, to be called African Americans has cultural integrity. He said it puts us in our proper historical context. Every ethnic group in this country has a reference to some land base, some historical cultural base. African Americans have hit that level of cultural maturity. Remember, this is around the time we start wearing the African pieces. There was a lot of RBG, Afrocentrism in hip hop, etc., etc. But this is important because it wasn't Jesse Jackson that did this. This was a group of our leaders from across the country. And this was something that had been debated in the 60s and the 70s. And finally, they came around in 1988 to the conclusion that they were going to drop black because it was as equally bad as colored and Negro. So let's go to the next slide. Past attempts on an ethnic name, from Negro to black to African American, the power of names and namings, right? So this is from Benel Martin, who teaches politics at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. In a December 1988 news conference at Chicago's Hyatt Regency O'Hare Hotel, where leaders of 75 black groups met to discuss a new national black agenda, Jesse Jackson announced that members of their race preferred to be called African American. The campaign he then led to replace the term black met immediate success among African American opinion makers and more gradual acceptance in the national press. See, we can change things for those of you who are freedmen conscious. Those of us that are the creative minority, we just have to keep pushing. Jackson's cultural offensive proposed an ethnic reference for a racial one, something that we are pushing for at the Office of Management and Budget right now with the name American Freedom. Let me read that over. Aiming thereby to create as much as express a sense of ethnicity among Black Americans. It recalled the successful imposition of Black over Negro 20 years earlier and renewed the themes of the Black Power movement of the late 1960s. So at one point, there was a preference. We wanted to be called Negro, and then we grew. And then we said, you know what, Negro is offensive. We want to be called Black. But then we grew. We said Black is offensive. We'd rather be called African American because it ties us to the land. This conscious community has not grown in that regard. They're going to tell you about Blackness representing the cosmic forces of the super universes and being all colors combined into one, and a whole bunch of other pseudo nonsense that they can never ever prove. So, for the sake of time, I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. But Sidney Poitier wins Best Actor for Lilies of the Field, right? But Sidney Poitier is looked at as an African American, a Black person. But he's not, because they made African American synonymous with Blackness in 1997 with the Office of Management and Budget. So they blurred the line. They played a trick on us because we were trying to separate Blackness so that our own ethnic identity could be carved out of that. No, they put it back. And so now you have Sidney Poitier as an African American. This guy right here, Barack Obama, one of the worst presidents to ever preside over our people.
Lord Abba, I pause your time. I got to make this announcement. This is very important.
Sure.
I need my moderators to lighten up, y'all. Lighten up on deleting and putting people in timeout. Lighten up. Let them disagree. Let the people go strong in their disagreement, long as they're not being disrespectful. Lighten up on taking down the comments. Leave them alone. Let the people live. Thank y'all. Y'all doing a great job otherwise. All right, go ahead, Lord Abba. You got 40 seconds. 8 minutes.
8
40.
minutes. Okay. So it says when Barack Obama was elected president in 2008, he became the first African American to hold the office. But according to the racial classifications in the United States of America, right, we say he's the first Black president, but he's not one of us. This is why Blackness is a problem. This is why we're pushing for this aggregation and the fact that nobody is Black. The fact that somebody like a Sidney Poitier could win that Oscar. The fact that actors all over Hollywood right now are the leads, Black British actors, quote unquote, Black British actors of African descent. This dude is about to play, the guy that plays Selma is an African. Our people fought to get these roles. They fought, they did all types of unspeakable acts to get these movie roles, and now we're being replaced. And the people are saying, oh no, we got Black people. Why are y'all complaining? Aren't you all Black? No, it's time for us to get out of that. I'm showing you how it is a problem because it's degradation. Inky brought up Sudan. I want you all to look up the word Sudan. It comes from the Arabic Sud. When you look up the Arabic Sud, it means to darken, to blacken, to sully, to denigrate. Then I want you to look up the word denigrate. And the word Negro is embedded within the word denigrate. This is something that you could all pull up right now. And I know some of you are. Inaccurate crime data and statistics with social and political consequences. When you look at the city of New York, the number of people there that are of Caribbean descent and African descent on a low scale almost matches our numbers. These are the people that are driving the crime in New York City. Now it's the Hispanics. But when they say Blacks account for nearly half of all New York City arrests, 6 years after the end of stop and frisk, we don't know which Black people they're talking about. Is it the American freedmen or is it somebody from Jamaica? Because we're not bringing boatloads of cocaine from Jamaica. Like I think that was Beanie Man and some other, I could be, don't quote me on that one, but I know a Jamaican dude recently just got locked up for bringing like a bunch of kilos into the United States of America from Jamaica. They're going to say that that's Black crime. This is why Blackness is a crime, a problem, right? So let's look at the stop and frisk data. According to the NYPD's annual reports in 2021, 8,944 stops were recorded. 5,442 were innocent, 61%. 5,404 were Black. Again, who's being targeted? Now you got to think. Now you got to think, because I grew up in neighborhoods where it was largely freedmen, right? And the housing projects. Most of the Caribbean people in New York City, they live in houses in places like Canarsie, other parts of Brooklyn Park Slope, et cetera, et cetera. They don't necessarily, at least when I was living there, when I grew up, live in these housing projects. And so we got the brunt end of this we got to crack down on Black crime in a place like New York City, when the fact of the matter was a lot of these people were committing these crimes. This is from a paper, When Diversity for Diversity's Sake is Not Enough. Should Black immigrants receive the benefit of affirmative action at the detriment of Native Blacks? It says diversity student experience within a student body helps to break down deeply held stereotypes of certain minority groups held by both Black and non-Black students, who will likely go on to become leaders in American society. Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, they're not one of us, but they're called Black people. In a society where the long history of racial division has led to the dominant culture, meaning white people, quote unquote white people, the European, as I call them, often viewing all Black people as the same, admitting disproportionate numbers of Black immigrants dilutes the intended effect of diversity when the Black immigrants attending an institution also hold negative stereotypes of Native Blacks and are overrepresented within the student population. I remember back in the days, the old Sinetta TV, he used to be going in on them Africans. He said they would go at you and curse you out worse than the white man. But when we got with this reparations movement, Sinetta had changed this tone up. It's like, that sounds like some divisive stuff. Y'all, Lord Abba, nah, it's time for us to disaggregate, because what's happening in the colleges and the universities is that they are picking immigrants over our people, Black immigrants, quote unquote, and saying, no, we got Black people. Now, our people fought for this. We fought to get into these colleges and universities, and you're denying us. And it's a deeper breakdown that I can give, but I don't have the time. Look here, liquid assets held by white and non-white households. Look at what the U.S. Black assets is, and this is in Los Angeles, right? $200. But look at what the African Black is, $60,000. They are using Blackness to keep us out and elevate the people from other countries, family. Look at that second chart. Look at it. $4,000 compared to $72,000 of median household net worth for U.S. Blacks. $4,000, African Blacks, $72,000. I don't have which state this one is. The first one is Los Angeles for certain. How is it that these people have surpassed us? In Boston, Caribbean, $13,000. Our people, the American freedmen, $8. So this Black issue is a problem. Where we at, Sarnetta, on time?
Two minutes, 33 seconds.
All right, I'm gonna just stop right there. I don't gotta go anymore. Let's exit out of that.
Use your time wisely.
Well, okay, I got you. I've proven my point. I think I've over proven my point. Inky played a video of some cartoon dude flying through the air talking about water drops and fingertips and other things that are irrelevant to this debate discussion. I simply showed and proved what I came to show and prove, how Blackness is hurting us. This isn't just some Moorish science thing. There were people that were talking about this before Noble Drew Ali. They had a debate about it in the 60s, people that did not study Noble Drew Ali. And with time, I can come back and give a presentation on all of that. So again, Blackness has hurt our people because we're not Black. Y'all looking at my clearly brown skin, my sexy chocolate skin, right? We looking at our brother Inky's chocolate brown skin. We're looking at our brother Sarnetta's chocolate brown skin. The Europeans called us this. This is what the sister said in the video, the African sister. They came to Africa and gave us this thing that we never had before, this color-coded humanity. And whereas they, the Africans with the brown skins, were called Black, and that they were akin to the devil, and that they, the Europeans, with their skin is just pale brown skin, was called white, akin to godliness and angels. Or what Noble Drew Ali said, being that you kept bringing them up, purity, white means purity, purity means God, God means the ruler of the land. What title does Satan give himself? What did Noble Drew Ali say? God. I mean, it's right there. I like I said, I've overly proven my point. I'm ready for Katazak on the Moabite piece. I'm gonna send ISUPK packing on that topic as well. But you know, I want to learn and build with everybody eventually, man. So thank you, Inky. And I know we got some more to go, but just thank you, and thank you, Sarnetta. Let Inky go. He's gonna play some more cartoons, and I don't know, he's gonna play Schoolhouse Rock, teaching you how a bill gets produced. I don't know what's about to happen next.
All right, there we go. There we go. Lord Abba ends his third and final round. I see I got my man Cosmo in the building. Cosmon Cow TV. Minister Inky, get your joint set up and ready. All right. I got to get a sisters debate going on. I see I got Dots up in here. Dots is a good speaker as well from the Unscrambled Minds team over there. We got to get a sister up in here to go in with another sister, and that'll be an awesome debate. Inky, are you ready, brother, for your last and final round?
Yeah, this is easy work.
All right. I see your screen. Your screen is up. The time will begin when you begin. You got 10 minutes in this round, 3 minutes on your rebuttal. So it's all
13. Right. So So I don't even have to really rebuttal that because he spent 13 minutes telling us that white means God and black means
ready? Are you ready, brother?
Absolutely. Start that up. I thought I was going already.
Okay, go ahead. Time start.
So the title of the debate is: Are we calling by calling ourselves black? Are we degrading ourselves? I'm showing you that by calling ourselves black, we're calling ourselves the mothers and fathers of civilization. But now we're going to get to the science, so somebody could tell Taj Tariq that black is not a color. Not only are we black, but we also have green skin. I'm going to show you how this works in just a second. Osiris is green because the hidden one, the sun, is green. Now, what is the natural process of blackness? This is what Lord Abba has to understand. These are pigments, and these are how pigments work. Black and white are processes of absorbing light. Black is when you absorb all the light. White is when you reflect the light. So I'm showing you how pigments work. And in specific, I'm going to show you how melanin works. If you look at these pigments, you'll notice that they up and down and kind of all over the place. Melanin spectral chart mimics the sun. So this is the reason right here why Osiris is green, just like the sun, because pigment's chart is just like the sun's chart. I'm showing you the science here. Now, the term perfect black. The term perfect black, we don't have to go to the pyramid walls to find the term perfect black because you melanin. Science today is still saying the perfect black. You means good, perfect, or true. Melanos means black. So you melanin means what? The perfect black. That comes from the Greek. The Greeks were educated by who? What did they learn? About the perfect black. Alexandria, where they were taught, is where? Mount Zion in Egypt. That is the learning campus. Osiris is green because he is the U-melanin or NH compound, perfect blackness. Now, we're going to get to the three opponents. I'm skipping through right to the meat and potatoes here. The opponent process, okay, y'all can look this up. The opponent process suggests that there is a limitation in how your rods and cones process light. That means that some colors are actually hidden from your eyes. The brain makes substitutions for these combinations. White and black is one, green and red is one, blue and yellow is one. When you get a combination of green and red, your eyes interpret that as brown. See, comedic science is so advanced that it surpasses what we have today. Black and white are the natural functions of light-absorbing proteins in biology. White being the complete reflection and black being the complete metabolism of light. The pigments in your eye will relay that information through the optic tract based on the conversion of photons to electrons. In 3 rare instances, the rods and cones cannot produce an accurate rendering of that light. So 3 colors are substituted: gray, magenta, and brown to replace the imperceptible colors. The more melanin you have, the more efficient your respiration, mitochondria, and natural muscle mass, allowing you to metabolize light more efficiently. The more efficient the light, or the more efficient the light metabolism, the less light will be dissipated, giving you brown to a blue-black complexion. The green and red light produced by the perfect black pigment create the brown illusion. Your perfect black makes you green. This is the scientific origin of the red, the black, and the green with the key. Now, between the sun and all the plants, the environment on Earth is filled with too much green light. U-melanin absorbs too much green light. So that light has to be released along with infrared as heat. So you have the release of green light as heat and red and infrared. With green back into the atmosphere, in order to have proper cellular respiration, the green light with a hint of red makes your eyes see brown. Osiris has green skin because our skin releases as well as reflects green light. The Ogdode came from the hidden one because he is green. The sun is green. The iris in the name Osiris alludes to how green light is produced by the green sun, absorbed by the iris, and interpreted by the brain as brown. Good night, Sarnetta. Clean this body off the floor and have Jabari come zip up the body bag. Replay for the slow people in the back. There is no such thing as brown skin, only greenish red. The rods and cones cannot reproduce this color, so our brain creates brown instead. The color we are is the perfect black, the perfect absorber of all light. This is why the Great Pyramid is 137 meters tall. This is why the oblong square in the King's Chamber is 1/137th the mass of the room. The fine structure constant defines the relationship between light and charged particles. Your eye converts light into charged particles. Chlorophyll is 137 atoms, 55 carbon atoms, 72 hydrogen atoms, 1 magnesium atom, 4 nitrogen atoms, and 5 oxygen atoms. The number 137 in physics corresponds to the interaction between an electron and a photon, or the probability of an electron absorbing a photon or charged particles interacting with electromagnetic radiation. This is the number of life, the 33rd prime. The pyramid is 137 meters high, 2.6 million oblong squares. The most popular age in the Bible is 137 years old. Most importantly here, Solomon's temple is a square model of the Great Pyramid at 13.7 meters, 18 to 21 inches per cubit. 30 cubits would be 540 inches or 45 feet, which is 13.7 meters tall. Chlorophyll represents Isis in biochemistry and has 137 atoms in it. This is why she is the throne of life, or Mother Netta. Go get the album Sound Becomes Light by Dr. Inky. This is how the sun sees our skin. This is how the sun sees our skin. The better you metabolize light, the darker you appear. This means the only way our brains can see you melanin's green and red light is brown. The perfect black is green. Comedic science is undefeated in 8,000 years. Come study with me to regain your true birthright and learn how to heal your family. This is where I came with the Swaj Mamatomics when I told y'all the story started with me healing my daughter. This is what I made. That's why it's called Swaj Mamatomics. It's based on what I learned from comedic science, and I was able to rebuild my daughter's spine when the Europeans that taught Lord Abba that black is bad and white is right and blacks are criminals, and I've got the criminal record to prove that blacks are committing most of the crimes, and white means purity and white means God. Where did he get this nonsense, and why are you people in the chat co-signing that? Exposure of the skin to ultraviolet light increases pheomelanin content just as it does for eumelanin. But rather than absorbing light, pheomelanin within the hair and skin reflect all yellow to red light, so they make less melatonin and nitric oxide, but more sulfur hydroxide and peroxide, which may increase damage from UV radiation exposure. Add to that the natural melanin quality of releasing excess green light, and you have reflection of almost all wavelengths of light. Blue light is the exception. Being polar, they metabolize blue light exceptionally well. This is why anaerobic respiration creates H2S when they are out of breath. That is the smell that people attribute to white folks when they sweat, when they say they smell the sulfur. This is the difference. White folks are not light brown. It's called pheomelanin, which is a completely different melanin than eumelanin, which again, we get the etymology of eumelanin, means perfect black. Blue light is damaging to equatorial biochemistry, just as UV light is damaging to polar biochemistry. Blue light destroys vitamin A, which is required for pigment cells and beta cells. We discussed this in the Melanin vs. Diabetes book series, volume 1 to 4. You can go to Amazon now and pick these up for more information. If humanity has fallen, what was humanity's highest point? Again, are we degrading ourselves by calling ourselves black? No, we're not. I showed you that black was our highest civilization. And when we look at the word black, we have to go back before the Greek civilization, the Roman civilization, and all the rest of the European civilizations even existed to the time when we were the mothers and fathers of all math and science. See, he would like to make light of the second round because the second round demonstrates the origin of all science, and it also demonstrates why these people don't want you to call yourself Black. Because when you don't call yourself Black, that allows for other people to come in and steal that history and say that their people built the pyramids, their people created math, their people created science. All of the medical papyri that the planet runs on now, all of the medical science, all of the anatomical science, all of that originated in Kemet when we called ourselves Black. The reason why I had to demonstrate what they're doing in the Moorish Science Temple is because in the Circle 7, Noble Drew Ali says over and over that they are Egyptian. He doesn't even know that Egyptian means Black. So when Noble Drew Ali calls you Egyptian, he's calling you Black. He's not calling you Moroccan. He's calling you Black, which is why pyramids is all over your paperwork, all over your charter. Secondly, you cannot be a national of another bloodline or another country by signing up to a religion. So if you want to deal with our highest civilization, that is when we called ourselves Black. So when we call ourselves Black, that's not denigrating. That is us tying ourselves not back to slavery, which is where Negro, colored, and African American come from, right? 1865. No, when we call ourselves Black, we're tying ourselves back to the origin of civilization. We're tying ourselves back to the pyramid builders, back to the people who created math and science, back to the people who created the written language, back to the people that gave the world papyrus to write on in the first place. How much time I got, Si?
You got 1 minute, 13 seconds.
Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic Black man, the maker, the owner, the cream. Come on, I want to hear people I want y'all to say this in your house. Read it off the screen with me. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic Black man. Let's go. Let's hear it. The maker, the owner, the creamer, the planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. That's my time.
All right, there we go. We got the first, second, and third round out of the way. Now, I'm hoping you brothers got y'all questions prepared. You have 2 minutes to answer the question. Once the person finishes asking when you complete your question, you get 2 minutes from there to answer the question. You will have 3 questions apiece. Are you ready, Lord Abba, to ask Minister Inky a question, brother?
I don't know. It's hard.
Brother, this is where you could pick up points too, brother. This is
I'm trying to think of some things to ask because it's.
That's what I'm saying. You should have been writing stuff down as he going in.
I know. Okay. First question: can you prove that the word Egypt means Black? Can you trace the etymology of the word Egypt back to the word Black, even if it's the word Black in ancient Egypt? First question.
2 minutes.
The word Egypt refers to burnt faces. So we all know what burnt refers to. Burnt refers to the same way we put toast in the toaster. It goes in white, it goes in gray, it goes in brown, depending on the type of bread you put in the toaster. But once you leave it in the toaster too long and the toaster starts smoking, it comes out black.
All right.
But I already explained to you. Oh, I still got 2 minutes. But I already explained to you that black is a process of light absorption. So I'm sure you having trouble putting together intelligible questions because of what you just got hit with in the third round.
All right. All right.
Yeah, man.
The link in the chat, if anybody would like to come in and ask your question. Lord Abba, you got another question for him? You can ask him, or you can just, it's up to you.
No, he could ask me a question.
All right. Right now, Minister Inky is leading 59 in the polls. 59 to 41. This is what I'm telling you. You can pick up speed and momentum and points, Lord Abba. You don't want to.
It's cool.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not going off of that. I'm going off of the information that I presented versus what he presented. So I don't care about that.
Okay, Minister Inky, it's on you. Ask Lord Abba a question. Lord Abba, you got 2 minutes to answer it.
If humanity has fallen, if Black humanity has fallen, what was its highest point? What was the name that what did we call ourselves at our peak on this planet in written history?
There was never a conference of our people in the history of the world outside of what I just read from with Jesse Jackson and those leaders, I call them freedmen leaders, that got together and decided on what we should call ourselves. There's no written record of any African groups, tribes, etc., coming together and saying we need to call ourselves this or we need to call ourselves that. The European called us Black and they had us call them white. They then turned and called the Orientals yellow, and then they called the American Indians and other groups or other light groups yellow. They called the Malaysians brown. That's where it comes from. So when you're asking me this open-ended question about what did we call you make it seem as if Egyptian civilization is the only civilization, but I can pull up a bunch of different civilizations that existed in Africa. Moorish Spain, for instance, was a great and powerful civilization, so much so that we got modern mathematics, algebraic equations, trigonometry, surgery and surgical tools, perfumes, certain forms of alcohol, etc., out of that. So that question is, to me, I mean, it's nobody. We never called ourselves no one thing. You called yourself what you was based on the country where you live, and that was it, or your tribe.
All right, Minister Inky, you got another question.
I
want everybody to know that the front gates is open. Y'all welcome to come in and ask your question.
Okay, clearly you must have missed what happened in the first round, Abba, where I was explaining to you and the audience that algebra came from the stolen papyrus that Al-Muqman stole out of the pyramid in 820 AD when him and his people went in the pyramid with battering rams and explosives and blew a hole in the side of the pyramid. That's why algebra is Al-Gebra, because the creation doesn't go far from the creator. So my question to you is, are you aware that all anatomical sciences also originated in Kemet? And if you're not, please go ahead and explain where anatomical science came from.
I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
All right. He ready to answer that one quick. Okay, so Inky, he answered it. He's not aware. Here's your last and final question, Minister Inky. You got the floor. Answer the third and final question.
Without math and without anatomical science and without the ability to write things down on paper, where would civilization be?
Probably would be in a place where pockets of civilization, you know, they wouldn't know about other pockets of civilization. Writing has been a very important tool for humanity over human history. So, I mean, I don't understand necessarily the question if you're trying to say that writing began in Egypt. You know, there's some debate about that, right? There's some scholars that have debated about the origins of writing or the world's first legible sentences, etc., etc. I don't see how that question is tantamount to the debate. I just don't. But I got a question. I do have a question.
It's too late. You passed up your questions.
Yeah, you.
I said, let me ask you a question, sir. One question.
Ask your question.
Like, where's your family from, Inky? Like, are you, when I say an American?
You're not asking me no questions. You passed up your time, sir.
Oh, so you don't want to answer the question where your
You
family?
did not ask
questions.
You asked one question, which I answered, and then you gave up your questions. You can't come back
it's
now.
no sweat off my back,
You
brother,
know what?
man.
You know what,
No
Lord
sweat
Abba?
off my back.
What you
What's
should
up?
have done was ask Inky, is it all right? Because he do have the right to say,
okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
or you passed it up. But why don't you ask
That's
him?
cool.
Let's see what he say. Ask him.
He doesn't want the question.
He passed his questions up. I'm not helping Abba.
So what we doing now?
Right.
Because this is over with.
So here
Easy
we
work,
are.
like I
It
said.
looks like nobody want to come in and ask y'all questions. So I guess we're gonna have to give y'all closing statement. Now, family, I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Once they give up their closing argument, the question period is over. So they ain't got to come in after that right there. So I'm gonna give them a little more time, 5 more minutes. Let's see if they want to come in. Y'all two can go back and forth and talk the rapid round real quick. Y'all can go ahead and go back and forth and just talk to each other.
Okay,
No,
Lord Abba, I'll let you go ahead and ask me your question, and then I'll ask you a question.
I just wanted to know, like, where's your family from? Like, can you trace your family back to the plantations, as they're called here, the slave labor camps in this country? Or did your family migrate over here from Africa or the Caribbean at some point? I'm curious.
I have family origins in both places. I have family that organically was here, and then I have family that came from Africa through the Caribbean into the States.
So when you say organic,
here's my question. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, no. What I just want to know what you mean by organically.
You don't get a second question.
I'm asking you to clarify.
I answered your question, brother. You gotta relax. Here's my question.
Go ahead. What's your question, brother, man?
Here's my question for you.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Can you demonstrate at any time in written history on Earth when we had a higher civilization under any name than Sumer or Kemet? Because both of those people called themselves Black for one reason or another. We don't have to debate the reason, but we know they called themselves Black. So can you demonstrate for the record right now any civilization that was at a higher level than Sumer or Kemet?
What I can do is say that there were many great civilizations, and how we rank those civilizations is according to our fields of study. My field of study shows, for instance, the Moorish Empire was just as equally great as the Sumerian or the Egyptian. The architecture that was built by the Moors during that time was unlike anything that had ever been seen in the world, because they went to Egypt, they went to Greece, they went to Rome, they went to China, and they brought all of these different elements back and started to create new structures. They started to design tiles like the Zalige tile that we see that's familiar in Morocco and in Islamic art, which traces stars and 5-pointed, 6-pointed, 7-pointed, 8-pointed.
So you're admitting that the Moorish civilization plagiarized or stole the science from ancient Egypt and the students of ancient Egypt, which would be Greece and Rome, etc., etc.
Well, if you was trying to twist somebody's words up, then yeah, right. But you can't twist my words up. No. You're gonna let me answer the question. You're gonna let me answer the question. You're gonna let me answer the question. No, so we just not going to talk. Let me answer the question, because I already said earlier that and I cited George G.M. James that said the Moors always kept up constant contact with Mother Egypt. They never forgot about their Egyptian roots. So that's like the banjo coming to the United States of America. The banjo gourd, that came with us from West Africa on the slave ship, and we reproduced it over here. We don't say that we stole the banjo gourd from the West Africans. We say, no, we brought that science with us. Come on, stop that. Try again, though. Try again.
The Moors, along with the Europeans, enslaved the Egyptian population and created the first sugar plantations. And then they helped direct the Europeans from Spain over to the Caribbean to set up more sugar plantations. So when you say that the Moors kept in contact, Are you aware of what was called the agricultural revolution that started with the sugar plantations when the Moors enslaved the Egyptians and then taught the Europeans how to enslave the Egyptians and then brung them over here and started the sugar plantations over here?
Pull your source.
Everybody could look up. Everybody could look up.
No. We're debating and you're asking.
No. This is a rapid fire round. We're just going back and forth. So I asked you, are you aware of this history? If you are not aware of this history, if you're not aware of the history, the answer is no, brother. You can admit that you don't know something. Everybody doesn't know everything.
That's right. You're right. I don't know. So pull your source so that I can be better informed. Pull your source.
So you don't know the actual history of the Moors and slavery. We got Brother Suntan. Go ahead, Brother Suntan.
This is the Lord Abba. Great job, Brother Inky. Lord Abba, and I'm not being facetious because I listen to you, my man. But I got to get you with this. Was tonight easy work?
Easy work. This was easy work for me.
I
showed and proved.
Okay, I just had to ask you that because that's your favorite. That's your penman's statement.
That's
easy
right.
work. It didn't look like it was easy, Lord Abba. That's all I was saying.
So you thought the white character flying through the cartoon images, you thought that was good work?
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why. Can I tell you why, Brother Abba? Can I tell you why?
Go ahead, tell me why.
Because our history is based on pictorial things, as in, listen to me, as in the walls of Kemet. You didn't see them paint no white people on the wall. You didn't see them. You follow me, Brother Abba. It's a pictorial. Listen, let me finish. When you look in the Bible, you don't see no brothers in there. You see Europeans, right? So all I'm saying is our world is pictorial. It's a superficial thing that's based on.
So now let me ask you a question. So now let me ask you another question. Do you believe that pictorial depiction, the cartoon that he showed about Egyptian fingertips and water dots and pyramids and Fibonacci sequences had anything to do with the topic of this debate?
Yeah. You want to
prove it? Yeah,
Can I tell you why?
Yeah, tell me why.
Because it's synonymous with what he's speaking. Okay? That's all. It's like an example. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. No doubt.
Look, I don't get me wrong, Lord Abba. I respect you, man, because you've been around and I have listened
honest.
But I'm not going to take that away from you. However, we must get to the point where, look at me and you. If we went anywhere in the United States, we black. If we went anywhere in France, we black. There's no distinction. So let's just leave
touched on that already. I touched on how the European. I touched on how the European called us black. How they came into Africa and dominated the minds of the people, stopped calling them by their tribal names, and then gave them this fictitious name of blackness, because you're not black. Your skin is just as brown as mine. Point blank, period. Point blank, period.
Okay, let me add something in here.
Add on, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
Because I just want to demonstrate something here to everybody watching, right? I demonstrated in round 3 how light absorption works, what black actually means, how melanin works, etc. And the brother is continuing to go on as if he didn't see it. Literally, the root of ignorance is to ignore. Now, to take it a step further, that character that he keeps trying to downgrade or denigrate, right? That's actually a melanocyte. But he doesn't know what a melanocyte looks like when you present it to him, which is why he can't tell what the character is. I literally had a melanocyte flying through Black history to show you at our apex. Secondly, to tap that off, and I'll stop after this, to add proof that he doesn't understand what Black is scientifically, he showed us a melanoma cell in the beginning of his first round and called that melanin. So to take a sick cell, a cancer cell, and try to pass that off as melanin at its optimum function is either him being the highest level of disingenuous you could possibly be, or him demonstrating his lack of knowledge and ignorance around the subject.
Well, you're being disingenuous because I
Was that
said
not a melanoma cell? Was that a melanoma cell? Yes or no?
Sarnetta, can you share my screen? Real quick.
Scott's still on the break, Lord Abba.
Did you show us a melanoma cell? Yes or no?
Because I want to explain exactly what I said.
Is this your screen right here?
Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, I see it. It's up
Okay.
here.
So let me repeat what I said, because EnQi is very disingenuous, and if you're not careful, if you do not have good listening skills and don't know how to point out logical fallacies, he would get you every time, right? I said that this was a melanoma cell with melanin inside of it. And it's obviously the microscope is showing, the microscopic image is showing the melanoma cell with the melanin in it. And what I did was I used that because it's a good, clear picture of how melanin is dispersed. And it's being dispersed in this cancer cell. I said that earlier. Like I said, if you're not careful, these types of guys will get you, but he will never, ever be able to trip me up or trap me up. And I keep telling him that. Ask me all the questions you want.
Abba, is a cancer cell a healthy cell or is it a sick cell? Because in my
God,
mind,
that's
hold
irrelevant.
on. In my mind, wait. In my mind, I understand in my mind, I understand a cancer cell to be a sick cell, to be a cell that's not functioning properly. So to show a sick cell that's not functioning properly as an example of optimally functioning melanin, to me, is disingenuous, and to a lot of people that's going to be watching this show right here.
So pull up a melanin. So pull up some melanin.
Hold on. You cannot take a cancer cell and then pass that off. Bro, you cannot pass off a cancer cell in front of people. I didn't
pass off a cancer cell. I showed the melanin inside of a cancer cell because it was a clear way to show how melanin
you don't understand. I got you. You don't understand. I'll let the people go on. I'll let the people go on.
But that means you should be able to pull
a question.
How melanin looks under a microscope. We'll give you that chance while somebody else is asking.
All right, time out. Let me go on over to Moises, or how you pronounce it. Let's go, my man.
He muted.
Neil Spice, stay on mute because you got a feedback. Wait till your turn, brother. You next.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. Like I know you hear me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know black women who will be considered yellow, right? If they have a child or a black man who could be considered yellow, and with a mixed person, and their child comes out lighter than science has proven based on EnQi, would that person still be considered a black person based on EnQi's definition of what is black and his scientific proof? That's what I'm saying.
Are you asking me a question?
Both of y'all, because would they be considered black? So what you're saying is based on the skin tone, but when that skin tone changes, would their offspring be considered black anymore?
So you're
nobody is black. That's
okay. Hold on.
Exactly. But based on EnQi's definition of what is black and the scientific proof and all that, when a black person who is less melanated has a child with another whiter person, their child is still black on that half. Yeah, based on what you were saying, would they still be considered black even though their skin tone is no longer black according to you?
You talking to me now? You gonna let me answer?
Sure. Yeah, we can go with you.
Okay. So if you're talking about melanin, right? You have two different types of eumelanin, and then you have pheomelanin. Those distributions are set at birth. So you have people that are pheomelanin dominant, like yourself. Then you have people that are eumelanin dominant, like me. If somebody my complexion and somebody your complexion have children, the children will be somewhere in between. So, case in point, my ex-wife, who I have 8 children with, she's lighter skinned, I'm dark skinned. Our children, 5 of them are dark like me, 3 of them are light like her. So some of them have pheomelanin dominance and some of them have eumelanin dominance. I think the problem comes in, like I said in the first round, where people have been so deprogrammed against the idea or concept of blackness that they don't spend any time to study it. So your question shows that you're confusing genetics with nationality. Nationality is a social construct. Genetics is totally different. I'm speaking to genetics. I'm speaking to the natural process that allows our bodies to absorb light at different wavelengths and different spectrums. So when you see somebody with your complexion, you're not absorbing light like I am. My body's absorbing light at a completely different rate. So if me and you was to stand out naked on the beach with nothing, no suntan lotion or anything, your body would start developing cancer at a much faster rate.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you're straying away from the question.
You gotta listen to the answer.
You're saying based on what the eyes perceive.
You cannot get emotional. Listen, you cannot get emotional in the middle of the.
Hold on, Inky. Brother, you gotta let him finish answering the question, whether you agree with it or not, and then you could come back and respond. Go ahead, Inky.
So what I'm telling you is that black and white, when we're talking about skin color, yellow, light skin, brown skin, all of these terms and ideologies, they have genetic roots. When we're looking at somebody's complexion, we're talking about how well that person is able to absorb light. What type of light is reflected versus what type of light is absorbed. The amount of light that your body absorbs determines how efficient your mitochondria function. How efficient your mitochondria function determines the distribution of your muscle tissue. This is why people that have less eumelanin have less fast twitch muscle. People with lighter complexion have more slow twitch muscle. People with darker complexion have more fast twitch muscle. More fast twitch muscle means you have more anabolic hormones. This puts us darker people at a higher risk factor for particular diseases like diabetes, which is my main reason for having these types of conversations. Because the reason why darker people are dealing with higher rates of diabetes and lupus and different forms of cancer is because we don't understand how our bodies work. We keep mixing up genetics with the social construct of nationality, and we keep going into hospitals that do not use our bodies as the standard. So if somebody falls down and busts their head, of course they can all get the same treatment. You need stitches. But if we're dealing with blood values, if we're dealing with sugar processing, if we're dealing with white blood cell counts, those things are all different and unique based on your haplotypes and the SNPs that they carry, which all show up visually in your complexion.
All right, let's go, Moises. Unmute yourself and talk to us.
All right,
Yeah.
Abba, as what he just said, you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Abba, based on what he's saying, all this scientific mumbo jumbo he added on there, it's still a perception of the eyelids, the eyeballs, and how you perceive color, right? So once that mixture and that melanated is removed from your perception, are you still considered black, regardless of the genetics?
Look,
and how your eyes perceive.
Well, my answer to that question is going to be the same. Nobody is black, right? According to EnQi, we're not even brown. We're green. This is what this dude just said. That's why I can't conjure up any like real coherent questions to anything that he was talking about. He said we're green. We're not. This is what Dr. York used to teach, that we used to have green skin and that over time as water built up in our body, we started to rust. And then we started turning brown. That's the same craziness that the Nation of Islam teaches, that we once had hair as straight as our eyebrows, and then we went into the jungles of Africa, and the next thing you know, our hair got kingly. But come on, this stuff is nonsense.
What about Dr. Lakey? What about Dr. Lakey?
What about Dr. Lakey?
I'm all set. I'm all set. Thanks, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace to the panel. Is it my turn?
Peace, Neil.
Yep,
Peace,
it's your turn, brother.
All right. So, Brother EnQi.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Lord Abba, listen to this real carefully, because This was a question that Lord Abba, I'm sorry, Brother Inky had asked you, Lord Abba, but it was a two-part question. You answered only part of it. The question was, if Kemet wasn't, or Egypt wasn't the place where, I forgot exactly, it was anatomical something. You remember, Lord Inky?
I asked him, can he demonstrate any civilization
Besides, yes.
that we enjoyed a higher status than Kemet or Sumer, because both of those civilizations called themselves black.
No, not that. When you said about the anatomy, like studying of the body, anatomy. Remember when you said if it wasn't Kemet,
yes.
He only said, I don't have no answer for Kemet. But do you have an answer, Lord Abba? That's my question to you, to any other society that may have gave us knives, scalpels, stethoscopes. It's on the walls of Kemet way before the Moors.
I mean,
they rediscovered what we had already wrote. Go ahead, though.
Well, no, right? But if you look at the sources that are see, nobody's really paying attention. Everybody wants to come up and try to just go at you because they want to disagree. Chill, brother. I'm talking, brother. Let me finish. So I brought that up, right? Where I can get so much deeper into that. I brought up the sources of the connections. How did the ancient Europeans see the Moors? They saw them as the same exact people as the Egyptians that marched through Europe however many hundred years ago, that the source from David McRitchie's Ancient and Modern Britain said. George G.M. James said that the Moors kept up constant contact with ancient Egypt, right? So if I'm saying that we can find the images of scalpels and surgical tools in the texts of the Moors during the time that they're ruling Europe, then it's not far-fetched that this is something that they carried with them from the time that they were in Egypt and wherever they were all over the world. So I don't really, the question, like y'all trying to do these gotcha questions, and to me, they don't make no sense, brother, man. They don't make no sense to me.
Well, actually, it wasn't a gotcha question. It was a chance for you, because you never did. You just said, I don't have nothing. No, I don't have nothing to that Egypt. But I was thinking you were going to say, but I do have this, that, what you just gave us now. You didn't do that. You only answered, because it was a two-part question. I think you only heard the first part of it.
I got you. My bad.
But I appreciate that, what you just did.
My bad.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a lot of knowledge right there. The McRitchie, Volume 1 and 2, Ancient Blacks in Europe.
Ancient and Modern Britons.
In Modern Britain, yeah, I got them in my on my book.
Volume 1 and Volume 2, they interchange the word Egyptian and more, and not McRitchie himself, but the sources that he's citing, the contemporary sources that he's citing. Of course, they're secondary sources in his book, but he's citing from the contemporary sources of where they're interchanging more and black in those two volumes. More in Egyptian. More in Egyptian.
Brother. Thank you, brother, Lord Abba. And last but not least, I only got one last question. My last question was, and this is to both of you, when they do decipher the books that they've been killing these blacks in Mali for, or Senegal, wherever that, in the Mali, the Timbuktu library books that the families have hidden, when they finally decipher the history of those books, not mathematics, but history, when they go into that section and decipher them from Arabic to English, you think the world's going to be in for a big surprise of what they was teaching about history back then?
This is what I'll say.
Okay.
I think that information will be relevant to us, and that's only if we're able to rebuild a spiritual movement again in the United States of America. The 5 Percenters, the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the branches of Prince Hall Freemasonry, Moses Dixon's order died out in the early 1900s, the first freedmen secret society in the United States, created by us, by our own hands. Without that thing, that knowledge doesn't penetrate the people that it needs to hit, right? So let's just say some great revelations come out of that. A dude that's doing drill rap in the hood is not going to care anymore. You see what I'm saying? But if there is a new set of degrees that hit the street, which is something that I'm working on, it may open their minds up to receive that information, and we can start this process of truly elevating past what this European has kind of created us to be, because they, like I said, they gave us the derogatory title Black and Negro. And I'm going to end my closing statement by playing a clip from John Henry Clark. And then they cut off all access for us to climb the ladder of economic mobility in this country through their financial institutions, which created ghettos, which created the poor mindset and the poor state of mental health that we have now. So without something new, the revelations from those
Mute
papers
yourself,
are not
mute
going to
yourself,
say.
Neil Spite. Mute yourself.
Wait. Let me answer now. I got to answer that question.
Hold on, mute yourself. Go ahead, Inky.
So, again, for the 100th time, brother Lord Abba, calling you brother with affection. The title of the debate was, are we denigrating ourselves by calling ourselves Black? You tonight, over and over, repeatedly have said that the Moors learned information from Egypt. I showed earlier, the Moorish Science Temple charters literally got pyramids on it. Noble Drew Ali calls y'all Egyptians. Like, when you say that, you have to understand that those people called themselves Black. So when Noble Drew Ali is calling you guys Kemetic, he's calling you guys Black. If they decipher those Arabic texts will do nothing more than the rest of the Arabic texts that are out there, because the Arabs have no record, listen to what I'm telling you, of any sort of math or algebra or any of that type of science until after Caliph Al-Mu'min breaks into the pyramid in 820 AD. I'm giving you names, dates, times, and places. Caliph Al-Mu'min breaks into the pyramid. You can look this up. You don't really know Moorish history. You only know American, Moorish American history. If you go back to Al-Mu'min in 820, they blow a hole in the pyramid and steal the papyri, and then they founded what's called the Translation Society to translate those papyri and give the world math based on what they stole, and they couldn't even make up a name removed from where they stole it. That's why algebra is spelled Algebra, which is Al-Geb-Ra. The study of Al-Geb-Ra is what you get algebra. Not only that, the pyramids themselves are literally a monument to those sciences that they stole out of the pyramids. So you have not demonstrated tonight any society at a higher level than when we called ourselves Black. And when I'm telling you that we have green, what Osiris depicts, you don't understand Kemetic science. Osiris is depicting the process that till today, scientists, modern science is still in agreement with. If you look up, is the sun green? It's going to tell you the sun gives off mostly green light. If you look up, does the earth have more, is it permeated by mostly green light? It's going to tell you the earth is mostly permeated by green light. If you look up melanin, means good, perfect, or true. If you look up melanin, the root comes from melanos, black. So today, melanin literally still means the perfect black, absorbing all that light, which is green. The problem again is that you are unstudied, my brother. So these things sound like foreign concepts to you, but people are watching this. Listen, people are looking these things up as I'm saying
so I can respond. That's all.
And look, all right, you can respond when I finish. People are looking these things up as I say them. So they already have looked up and verified what's called the opponent process between the rods and the cones. This is the reason why white and black come together and our eyes see gray. Just like when green and red come together, our eyes see brown. When blue and yellow come together, our eyes see magenta. This is why that color of purple was royal in Kemet. And this is why Osiris, the perfect black, is green, because they was letting you know back in Kemet that melanin absorbs the green light and dissipates that very same green light today. So just because you're unaware of it, you would be blocking the youth of today, the drill rappers, from getting these new degrees, because I am putting them out. People can go right now and get them right now on Amazon and learn about this information, which is what I suggest you do.
I'm not buying your book.
All right. Hold on.
Let me respond, sir.
You're going to respond, but I got to pay the bills. Brother, got to pay the bills.
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe. They've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
All right, Brother Lord Abba, you on the mic.
So guess what, sir? I actually reached out to that brother. I just got an email back from the campaign. Beautiful. I was running today, so I couldn't respond. I'm going to try to interview the brother, because, you know, we do our political thing over here. Shout out to my brothers again at Be the Power and the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Shout out to the whole Freedmen Conscious movement. We making things happen all over this country, legislation, etc., etc., etc. So, Shah, can you share my screen real quick?
Yes, sir. And during this time, I don't want y'all to be too long, because we got a lot of people in the back who want to ask y'all questions.
So here is the name of Egypt, right? Here is the name of Egypt. Tamera. He keeps saying that Egypt means black. He's wrong. Kim only refers to the, let me go to that slide. Kim refers to the black land, that black part of Egypt along the Nile. The rest of it was mostly sand. Like, this guy's just, I don't know why he keeps on saying the same exact thing over and over and over again. But when the transliterations of, when the scholarship caught up with the transliterations, they were able to narrow down that the black part of Egypt is along the Nile. This is the name of Egypt, at least one of the names, right? Because there are other names. Hikkupta, I believe, if I'm saying that correctly. But the land mirror, so when he keeps saying Noble Drew Ali said y'all was Egyptians, that means you're black. This is him using pseudoscience. Remember those 7 points that I brought up earlier to try to gaslight the people. And I'm not up here to defend Noble Drew Ali or the Moorish Science Temple of America. And yet he keeps going with it. I got one more thing to share real quick, sir, and then we could pass it. This is the etymology to the word algebra. Let's get into it real quick. Share that, sir. All right. Boom. Algebra, right? Formal mathematics, the analysis of equations, the art of reasoning about quantitative relations by the aid of a compact and highly systemized notation. 1550s from the medieval Latin algebra, from Arabic al-Muqtasafar fi hisab al-Jabbar wa al-Muqabala. This is the guy that created it. And this is where you see, let me highlight that part right there. That part of the name stuck. The compendium on calculation by restoring and balancing. The title of the famous 19th century treatise on equations by Baghdad mathematician Abu Jafar Muhammad ibn Musa al-Qurra. Arabic, Again, al-Jabbar. In vulgar pronunciations, al-Jabbar. Reunion of broken parts. So when this dude is saying that algebra means al-Geb, meaning the Egyptian god Geb, and Ra, meaning the Egyptian god Ra, it goes to show that this brother is pseudo. Somebody keeps telling me in the chat I need to come study with the Magi Archers. I don't mind that at all, but I think y'all need to extend that invitation to brother EnQi, because I'm not up here saying no pseudo stuff. I am showing everything, all of my sources. So,
all right, real quick. Let me go on over to Afro Ra Amun. Afro Ra Amun, you are up next. You are on the call, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, Simon, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Simon, for all you do. I learned something. I learned some new stuff from brother EnQi. Lord Abba, we all been tapped in the side of the channel for a number of years now. So certain things that I know that Side shared from a lot of different scholars, you already hip to that. This information that was shared is not foreign to you, especially. So I just think that you may be a little willfully ignorant, on purpose. So
you're right.
Now let me ask my question though. Okay, my question is that with brother EnQi is sharing with you, by what he's sharing with you on more of a scientific basis, will you acknowledge that it is understanding mentally to us and to you?
No.
You may feel differently.
No, that's the answer to your question. No.
It just understands. So do you understand what he's sharing with you?
No.
Okay.
Makes no sense to me.
Okay. All right. And me personally, that's just why I feel you being disingenuous, because we've been tapped in the side. I've been tapped into you also when you on here. So I know that these things have already crossed your path. I don't know how many times, and I know if they crossed mine. So that's why I say this stuff not foreign to you, man. You just being intentionally disingenuous and won't even acknowledge what the brother shared with you.
Or it's just a bunch of pseudo BS.
However you say it. Peace to you. Thanks a lot.
Peace, brother. All right, we're gonna move on. Let me get Yada Dawu. Cut on your camera, brother. Yada Dawu. All right. Oh, all right. Here you go. What's going on, Yada Dawu? Yadawu. How you pronounce it?
Yadawad.
All right, Yadawad. Yadawad. My bad.
Yeah, I came in when EnQi was breaking down the whole the melanin and everything, and I work in oncology. So when I seen that picture that Abba put up, I knew that was wrong. And I just want to say also, because these some things I've been hearing, like I'm really big on medical. Like I can show you my books, right? Like these are my medical books right here, right? So I'm really big on medical. One thing that I was looking into, and I want to ask this to EnQi. I heard that melanin is not just in the skin. I also heard it's in your vocal cords and your bones and your muscles. So, could you talk a little bit about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So first things first, I just want to get you to say the thing that you said and when you first came in again, that you work in the colleges and you're into medicine, and you immediately knew what about what Lord Abba was sharing?
Yeah, like it was a cancer cell, and it was mesothelioma, and what he did was type it in, and it was some Google research. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to no textbook or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew what I was.
Yeah, exactly. I pulled it up on Google.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. So thank you, brother.
So, but to speak to your point in terms of melanin. So the reason why melanin pops up in so many places, and what we really got to deal with, and I'm glad you came in with this question. What we got to deal with now, the world is changing, but we still have to deal with institutionalized racism. So a part of that institutionalized racism that we're dealing with is the fact that melanin for a long time was taught in textbooks as a waste product or a byproduct of cancer cell respiration. So this is that colonized or colonized ideology that the brother is talking about, with the white means God and black means criminal and all that. Your mitochondria, the electron transport chain, produces free radicals. It produces, free oxygen, radical oxygen species primarily, but also radical nitrogen species, radical carbonyl species. So when you look at mitochondria in the cell, and this is every cell throughout the body. In fact, since Lord Abba was able to go ahead and pull up his share screen, I think it's only right that I go ahead and hit the share screen so that I could probably show a better picture.
Could I also just add, the reason why I also asked that is because the Mexican dude that got on before, he was trying to make a difference between a yellow black person and a dark black person. But we know, even if you are, yellow or red bone, whatever, we know that you black how the way you sound from your vocal cords. That's why I was like, it's melanin in your vocal cords. And
so let me ask you real quick, brother.
Somebody black on how they sound and they
well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yada. Let me ask you a question. So you don't think it's strange to say yellow black person or red bone black person? You don't think that's strange? Yellow black person?
Nope.
I don't think that's strange at all. Yellow bone, red bone, we use this all the time. When I say I hang out with black people, I don't say I hang out with African American people only.
Abba, what you got to understand is that there's a difference between pheomelanin and eumelanin.
I know about you going over his head, man.
Bro.
I know.
I have papers talking about that.
I got Abba.
15 years ago.
Could you please relax while I answer the brother? I know you're emotional right now. Things didn't go the way it planned.
What am I emotional for?
Relax.
You got washed. Elder Suntan.
No.
Let me just address Elder Suntan. I'm gonna be quiet.
No, brother, you cannot just address people. You gotta show some decorum. The brother asked me a question. I gotta answer the brother. You gotta relax, man.
Let's keep it clean, y'all.
That's how you know Inky losing.
Let's keep it clean.
Okay.
He know it. He got washed.
Bring my brother Moses up.
Easy work. Easy work.
So listen, the mitochondria produces free radicals. The closer your people come to the equator, the tighter the electron transport chain is, and the less amount of free radicals your electron transport chain produces. This is what the genetics behind the idea of black don't crack or our skin aging better. Around every single mitochondria in every cell that you have melanosomes and you have deposits of melanin around the mitochondria to absorb those free radicals and convert those back into a usable form of energy, usually by helping to structure the water and produce more free electrons and more free protons. The free electrons get recycled by melanin back to NAD, which is an electron transporter, and the free protons are used by cytochrome 5 or ATPase or ATP synthase, whatever you want to call it, to continue the rotation of the pump that recycles ADP back to ATP. So that's why every single cell in the body has mitochondria. Now, when you get to type 2 muscle fibers, type 2 muscle fibers have the least amount of mitochondria. And this is what puts Black folks at a disadvantage when it comes to cancer, because those types of muscle fibers are glycolytic. And glycolysis and fermentation are almost identical, except for the very last step, which converts the energy or the byproduct into ethanol or alcohol. So if we don't exercise, our body is already in the process of glycolysis. So it's only one more step towards fermentation, which Otto Warburg got the Nobel Prize for showing that cancer cells they perform fermentation and they like that in that type of environment. So this is why, you know, people may not really understand that's watching, but this is why me and the brother that I'm speaking to understand how disingenuous it was that he pulled up a cancer cell and tried to pass that off as a depiction of melanin in the middle of a debate. Like, that was crazy.
All right. Let's move on over to Mose. Mose, what's up, man?
He is gonna keep saying that no matter how many times. Hold on, brother. He's gonna keep saying that no matter how many times I proved it wrong, right? And I corrected him. And I said that in the beginning when I want everybody to watch this video from the beginning. Those of you who came late, I said that in the beginning when I broke down the 7 ways to identify pseudoscience. Claims that are repeated despite being refuted was number 7. So he keeps saying, I can't believe Abba showed a cancer cell and tried to pass that off as melanin. No matter how many times I corrected the brother and says that the cell is showing the melanin inside of it, he's gonna keep coming back.
But that is a cancer cell, correct?
Why?
Like the video, thumb up the video. All right.
Coming back and saying that because he has no other argument. He has to try to make my point look bad because he has nothing. All of that
all right.
Fiber of the non-melanin green, eat the beings from the plant, that has nothing to do with the debate topic. Period.
All right, moving right along. We got Moses, man. What's up with you, Moses?
Hey, what's up, brother? Peace and blessings, love and light of Yah, the Most High, shine down on and in the lives of all of the Creator's righteous children, resurrecting His gods on earth. Hey, Sarnetta, hey, I got 2 questions for both EnQi and Lord Abba, but I wanted to tell you something, bro.
Question first. I want to ask you a question.
All right, go ahead.
How come every time I be ready to give you your own show, you never show up?
Hey, man, I'm a truck driver, bro. My schedule is all over the place, man. When I get free, bro, I'll hit you up. Right, but this is what I wanted to tell you before I ask them a question, man. You know how when you go into the Bible and you be going in on the Hebrew Israelites about God and the Lord God, right?
Right.
Look at EnQi. If EnQi is at the age of 60 or older, that's a Lord God that you looking at. If he's under the age of 60, that's the God that you be talking about. And also because he's here in America, because he's not in charge or he's not one of the leaders. Okay, so Sarnetta, I'll keep telling you the Phoenician language, that God is an English word. The Phoenician definition or the Hebrew definition for the English word God is Elohim, which means judges and mighty judges and magistrates. That's what EnQi was in the days of our ancestors when he was sitting on the throne. That's what he was. He was one of the judges and the magistrates. And and like Nepal tells you, it was a council of them. So you got like EnQi. That's what happens when you don't study the English Bible and take them English words back to their original meaning. That's why you over there laughing. But the people that we're talking about, the Kemetic people that we're talking about, the leaders that was there, those are the Lord gods and the gods, brother. And they all look like EnQi until they fell. They fell because they started mixing their bloodline with other races and they lost their melanin. They started becoming melanin recessive. And when you melanin recessive, you can't stay in that land anymore because the sun, you ain't a child of the sun anymore. The sun becomes your enemy. It starts giving you melanomas and skin cancers and you getting all blistered up. You banished from the land just like Adam and Eve. But at any rate, man, let me go ahead and ask these brothers a question, man. Because you ain't even trying to understand the Bible from a Kemetic standpoint, obviously.
I do understand you. I got you. Go ahead, brother.
All right, well, let me ask you this other question, Sarnetta. Yo, we can say that the Phoenician language came after the Medu Neter, right? Wasn't that the very next language after the Medu Neter?
You would have to ask EnQi that question.
All right, well, let me ask you that question first, and then I'm gonna ask these other 2 questions. After the Medu Neter, can we say that the Phoenician language, their writing and their lettering and all like that was the next language after the Medu Neter?
Yes. Yes.
That's the reason why, Sonetta, when you be studying the Bible, man, you got to be taking them English words back to the Phoenician language. That way you won't be laughing at me and doing all that craziness you just did, bro. I'm telling you that the biblical Lord God, they look like Inky. It was Inky and 11 other brothers. And when it come down to the sisters, it was 12 sisters, and they all look like him.
You're a bad dude, brother. You're a bad
I can't
dude.
argue that.
You're a bad
Yo, and then like when you be talking about that rape doctrine and everything, that's when Inky started losing. Well, he wasn't the complexion of Inky at that time. By this time, they done mixed blood with the Greeks and other outside nations. Now they losing their marbles, and they not even good leaders anymore, man. They losing sight of themselves at that time. Okay, but let me get off of that. Let me talk to both Lord Abba and Inky. I want to say, Inky, excellent job. Peace to you, God. You did an excellent job, brother. I didn't expect any less. You did an excellent job. Lord Abba, I'm actually even on your side too, but I don't think that you articulated what you were trying to articulate to the audience well enough. And this is the reason why I'm saying that. All right, so if you don't know why you call yourself black, you do open yourself up for degradation because black is an English word. Words are energy. English attaches negative energy to black. Right? So if you don't know the comedic reason for calling yourself black, do not call yourself black. I feel like that's what you should have said, Lord Abba, that if you don't understand the comedic reason or why our ancestors was calling ourselves by this particular term, then don't call yourself that. Because the only knowledge that you have of black is what the white man tell you in that dictionary. And then like the thing with death, like you said that black is associated with death, but from a comedic standpoint, that's not bad. When our ancestors that were the complexion of Brother Inky, when they would give up their last breath and their last breath go into the trees, and that carbon monoxide goes where? It goes into the ether. It goes into the black universe, and it comes back down in the form of oxygen. We receive our ancestors that way, and then we exhale. It goes into the trees. It goes back into the ether. So what saying death to me is like saying ancestors. But when you don't really know the comedic understanding of black,
who said that?
I mean regular death to you.
Who said that? Who said it's death? Because I didn't say that in this whole presentation.
All Africans understand that, bro.
Wait a minute. I didn't say that in this whole presentation. So where are you getting that from?
What that you said that you did say that black is equivalent to death.
I said that during this presentation.
You said that in the pre-debate. You said that in the pre-debate, leading into this debate.
You don't see black as our ancestors in the universe when they give up their last breath. You don't see them as the energy that's above us in the ether. You see it as actual death. Just because they gave up their physical body, that doesn't mean that they're gone. It just means that they're physical. When you say death, or when I say death, it means that my physical ancestors are no longer here. They're in the ether right now, but they still communicate with me through the breath that I breathe.
I got you. So
all right. So this is the question I have for both of y'all.
Real quick, because you should have asked the question. You started teaching. Everything you just said, I've been teaching for the past, I don't know how many years. I was born a 5%er. We taught that when the physical body passes form, a man returns back to the essence. In the Moorish science, it says that man is not the body nor the soul, but he's a spirit and a part of Allah. So that man never truly dies, but the body does decompose and the body does turn black. That's just an observational biological fact. If you don't know what I teach, you can't just make these broad sweeping generalizations. You don't know my work. You've not studied my work, and you're gonna give me a position that I'm not necessarily taking. I don't think that that's a good way to have.
Well, Lord Abba, let me just say this. During a debate, people are not judging you by your entire body of work. People are judging you based on what you present. So you can't try to tell people at the end of your debate, when people are showing you the holes in your logic and the holes in your ideology.
There's no holes in my logic.
I didn't cut you off, brother. You gotta show some decorum, brother. Relax.
Well, that doesn't work with me. You try to make yourself seem like you are the king of decorum. You're not. You cut people off all the time, talk over them. You do run-on sentences, which is another form of logical fallacies. You do the same stuff, bro. I've been sitting here quiet most of the night, after we got finished doing our debates. You've been doing most of the talking. Everybody's coming up here to ask you questions based on the pseudology that you presented. There's no holes in my logic. The brother did not say anything about anything in my presentation. He talked about something that he assumed that I had no knowledge of, and I corrected him on that. It's just as simple as that. That don't work with me, fam. Come on.
All right, everybody, time out. We getting ready to go to the closeout, y'all. We got to go to the closeout. So I'm gonna say thank everybody for coming in. Appreciate you, Suntan. Appreciate you, Moses. Dawab, I appreciate y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Right now, we gotta let these brothers close out. Peace, y'all. All right. Lord Abba.
Sure. This is how I want to close out.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
As we prepare to close out, brothers and sisters, I want y'all to know that right after this, Nepal Shada and Lady Kira, they getting it in over there on the Paul Shada channel. Right after this is over, they will be starting their own interview tonight. Lady Kira is one of our moderators over here. She gets it in. The sister is deep. She go in deep, breaking down a lot of good information. And matter of fact, she's a rap artist. Her and her husband been writing a few of my opening songs that y'all been hearing lately. So there you have it. Let's make sure we head on over there. Let's give them some support. Get a lady some support over there as well. So, Brother Lord Abba, you got the floor, brother.
All right, definitely. So I'm going to play this clip from John Henry Clark. And I want to, before I play this clip from John Henry Clark, and I'm going to be brief.
You got 5 minutes, brother.
EnQi,
5 minutes.
EnQi didn't, the debate topic.
Is he starting his clock right now, Sa? Did you start the 5 minutes? Because he getting ready to do like a long thing. It's 5 minutes, brother.
Hold on, EnQi.
EnQi don't want nobody to do what he do because he just wants to have diarrhea of the mouth and keep running because he's going to talk himself into being right. Come on, man. Cut it out.
I need you to close up the thing, close up your video so you don't show the name of the YouTube channel.
What you mean?
You don't know what I mean?
This is a TikTok video.
Yeah, grab it at the end and close it up. There you go.
Full screen. Okay, I got you.
There you go. Okay, you got 3 minutes in this round. How long?
All right, let me get 4 minutes. Matter of fact, I won't play this whole video. I'm not going to play this whole video. So I want to start by saying,
hold on, man. This is the closing. I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes to closing out, man.
All right.
Hold on, let me get the time right. Let me get my time set. I'm giving y'all 5 minutes and y'all closing arguments.
I don't know why EnQi think he's winning the debate. Like when anybody goes back and watch this debate, they're gonna watch the comment section. They're gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell was this dude talking about?" He was showing like cartoons and a bunch of other nonsense. Like this was like a waste of time almost.
Hold on, Lord Abba. EnQi, you got to go on mute. You can't be laughing on his closeout.
No, he didn't start his closeout yet.
Your joint starts. Lord Abba, go ahead. I'm gonna start you when you're ready.
All right. Matter of fact, I'm ready. Let's play a little bit of this. Let's play this John Henry Clark clip first.
Okay.
You distinguish between the words Negro and Black.
I don't distinguish. I distinguish between the word. Way I held the word Negro is by dismissing it. And I dismiss it because there's no such thing as a Negro, because there's no Negro people and no Negro land. This is an adjective that somebody made a noun out of and slapped on a people against their will. And I dismiss the word Negro. The word Black can relate to a whole lot of people, and it can become confusing. You see, people must relate to land, history, and culture. And this is what limits the word Black. Because if you say Black, what is the Black? An image comes before your eyes, good or bad. The changing of the guards, Buckingham Palace, Stoutheart, the Bengal Lancers, If you say French, good cooking, great lovers, Napoleon, all that. All immediately you got an image. But you say Negro, what comes before you? no image is really a condition. And a people is not a condition. A people must have a name that relates them to land, history, and culture. And so therefore, the name of a people, if it's going to be authentic, cannot be black. That can refer to how the people look. The name of the people have to relate to the land of origin. Now, no one is having any difficulty saying Italian American, Greek American, French American. I don't think they should have any difficulty saying African American or Afro American, as the case may be. Now, these are people who are black in the main. But let's get something straight. All Africans are not black. The black is the prevailing color in Africa. There are Africans who have not been mixed with any white people at all, who are light brown. And they've always been that way. And they're just as African as the blackest of the Africans. So we got hung up on a narrow definition like black without explaining that it has elasticity that extends beyond a person being jet black, then we get ourselves into another trap. We get out of one trap and get into two.
All right. So as you can see, right, one of our great scholars, Dr. John Henry Clark, he went in and he started by dismissing the term Negro, right? But then he got caught up with black. He fumbles there a little bit. And then he starts to talk about how the Africans are black and are of the blackest of the black. That European psychology starts to kick back in, because what is the word Negro? Negro is the Spanish word for black. You cannot escape it. So you can't say, I dismiss Negro, but I accept the Germanic word that we've adopted into English as black. You see what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to play that clip, to show that some of our best and some of our brightest, they were getting there. And that's why the term, as he said, Afro-American and African-American replaced both the terms Negro and black in 1988. I read the sources. Inky showed what he said, flying melanoma samples. He provided no real sources at all. This debate was clear. I sourced up. I not only gave visual evidence, I also gave evidence based on how the Europeans would see our brown skin, just like John Henry Clark just said, and call it black. This thing is deep, and we have to break out of that. We have to break out of that. And then I showed how this term is degrading us. I showed how the term is degrading us, because they're grouping us in as one people, and they're elevating all other people under the title black, except the freedmen who built this country with their slave labor. There are several ways that it is hurting us. It's hurting us psychologically, and it's hurting us politically, and I proved that. Inky showed us nothing at all.
All right, Minister. All right, Minister Inky, are you ready?
Absolutely.
This is your closeout. You got 5 minutes in closing. Time will start when you're ready. I see your screen is up. Time will start when you're ready.
All right, go. So I'm not aware if the brother understands, when you provide sources, they're supposed to reinforce your argument. His sources actually reinforced my arguments. He said that the Arabs, or the Moors, excuse me, they learned different things in Egypt and brought it back to their culture and then took it to Europe. Then he put up Dr. Clark right there that clearly showed that black ties the people to the landmass, as Lord Abba showed earlier in his presentation, that they called themselves black because the land is black and blah, 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 blah. And then I don't understand what he was doing right there. So what I showed people beyond a shadow of a doubt was that our highest civilization, once again, I repeat it, was when we called ourselves black in Sumer, and when we called ourselves Black in Kemet. Now, the reason why we called ourselves Black, that doesn't really matter. Whether it was the land, the sky, our outfits, whatever, we called ourselves Black at that time. And at that time, we gave the world math, science, and medicine. We gave the world every tool it needs for civilization. So today, when we call ourselves Black, we're tying ourselves back to the mothers and fathers of civilization. I then went further to show him how melanin works. You have pheomelanin, you have eumelanin, two types. These absorb different wavelengths of light and reflect back different types of light, which gives you the different hue for our different complexions. Our complexions reflect the internal biochemistry, sir. We need to teach our children that. If we start to teach our children their biochemistry and their genetics, we'll start to see a drop in the cancer rates, the diabetes rates, the asthma rates, because those are the things that are truly killing Black people today. If we look at the money that goes to Big Pharma, the reason why the money's going to Big Pharma is because we're ignorant of how our bodies work. So when you go to a doctor and you use somebody else's standard as your own standard in general senses, you'll be fine. But when you're dealing with cancer, heart disease, strokes, diabetes, these are all things that are happening because we're ignorant of who we are. And yes, when you're ignorant of your actual identity, superstition can come in. Crime, like you showed, that Black means criminal and white means God. Crime happens because of ignorance and people that are impoverished. So if you call people Black, white, gods, devils, no matter what you call people, if you put them in a situation where they're not educated and they're living in impoverished situations, they're going to commit crime because they're trying to feed themselves and keep a roof over their head. That has nothing to do with their names, brother. When you call yourself Black, you're tying yourself back to the fathers and mothers of civilization. So you can say pseudo until you turn blue in the face. That's not going to change the fact that the sun gives off mostly green light. And because the plants are green, the chlorophyll is reflecting more green light. So the primary light in the earth sphere is green. And so the problem is nobody has really taught us Kemetic science. We've got brothers like the Magi breaking down the Kemetic language, right? We've got brothers breaking down Kemetic culture. But what I'm contributing is the Kemetic math and the Kemetic science, which is missing, that your Moors blew a hole in the side of the pyramid in 820 under Caliph al-Mu'min, stole the papyri and are now trying to pass it off as their own. So this is what we got to do, brother. In order to get back into our rightful positions, the first thing that we have to do is take back the intellectual property that people are taking as theirs. The reason why they don't want us to tie ourselves black to those people is because they want to assume those people. They want you to believe that the original people that built the pyramids and gave math, science, writing, and medicine to the world were white, or these people from the hills, or these people that came down from Europe. That's why they're trying to assume our identity, because they're assuming the value associated with the intellectual property. So when you understand that our history goes back before 1865, brother, you will understand the true value of tying yourself back into those people. When you tie yourself back into, first of all, Africans don't even call themselves African today. That's something that the European gave us. People from African today would call themselves Moroccan, Nigerian. I'm Igbo. They would call themselves based on their country. Africa's a continent. So I'm done. I know it's a dead body I'm kicking. I know.
No, you're not.
Ready? Open fire!
All right, man. Yo, man, this was a great debate.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Easy work.
Both of y'all did well. Now we leave it up to the people. This is your last chance to get ahead into the voting system. Right now, they got Inky 56. They got Inky 56, Lord Abba 44. Make your vote before we end the show. All right? So I want to thank both of y'all, man. Y'all.
It ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, you heard?
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe, they've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got
Dr. Inky incarnate as the true and living soul of Osiris. It's been 4,000 years since you learned true knowledge yourself, since you learned real black history. Find out the secrets of your soul.
Hi, my name is Wusia. Freemasonry is the largest and most successful fraternity on earth, and it's black. If we are gonna celebrate anything during Black History Month,
That's the algorithm. It ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, you heard?